Doomsday appears. It attracted many eyes on the battlefield. Superman, who was far away on the other side of the Arctic continent, was the first to sense the doomsday. That is the feeling engraved in the blood of Krypton. It's Superman's natural enemy. What did you do? Superman punched Steppenwolf away with an angry punch. Then he didn't even wait for the opponent to land. Then he flew over. Another punch. Explain. Steppenwolf was beaten too hard to fight back. I don't understand why the Kryptonian in front of me suddenly went crazy. We didn't do anything. Isn't it just an invasion of the Earth and a genocide? Why are you angry? Seeing that Steppenwolf didn't explain, Superman beat him even more vigorously. At the same time, on the battlefield in another direction, Wonder Woman Diana, with the assistance of Hercules and Ares from the Marvel Universe, finally rescued her mother, Queen Hippolyta, was the originally extremely difficult Nemesis team. With the arrival of the two Greek gods, the battle situation instantly reversed. Is that Ares, the god of war? He is not dead. Wait a minute. This is not the Ares of our universe. Queen Hippolyta looked at Ares, the god of war, who was killing everyone not far away. A surprising conclusion was reached. Yes, mother, they are visitors from the Marvel Universe. He's here to help us. Diana moves Queen Hippolyta to a safer location. Then he turned around and prepared to continue joining the battle, only to find that Hercules had already been killed. I heard that your fighting skills are very superb. Hercules wields a golden club. He has no so-called fighting skills at all. One effort will bring down 10. In the face of absolute power, any technique seems so vulnerable. Hercules rounded up the stick and swung it over. Any skills of the Furies become a joke in front of this. It hurts when you rub it. If you touch it, you will die. There is no room for maneuver. This is the absolute suppression brought by absolute power. Although in the process, Hercules was also hit by the Furies' spears, hooks and other weapons. But most of the injuries were superficial injuries, and at most they looked a little embarrassed. Hercules had long been used to this. I can eat 100 sets of your skills. But if one of you draws an A, I will die. Hercules burst into the crowd laughing. The other side. Although Ares, the god of war, does not have as strong a defense as his brother Hercules, he is not far behind. The two Greek gods began to fight like a tiger among wolves. Old gods, obviously. The kind grandmother mistook Hercules and Ares for DC's native gods. That is, the old gods opposed to the Apocalypse Star, the new gods. What old god? I don't think anything is old about me. Ares locked his target and charged directly at the kind grandmother. He didn't bother to dodge at all. A big jump right away. The battle axe in his hand struck hard one after another. The kind grandmother showed agility that was completely inconsistent with her body. He rolled to avoid Ares' axe, and at the same time, the crutch stabbed Ares directly in the waist. Ah! But Ares acted like nothing happened. Sneered. He directly grabbed the crutch of the kind grandmother, and then struck it with an axe. The kind grandmother had no choice but to let go of the crutch. But the moment he stepped back, a golden rope suddenly wrapped around her neck. This sword is for my mother. Diana grasped the mantra lasso with her left hand and pulled it back suddenly, while quickly getting closer to the kind grandma. A sword pierced the opponent's back. Aha! The kind grandmother, who was stabbed in the chest by a sword, reacted very quickly. The dry palms suddenly stabbed out sharp claws and clawed at Diana's face. But fortunately Ares has already rushed over. An axe falls, directly cut off the palm of the kind grandmother. You're welcome, sister. Hearing what Ares called him, Diana still feels a little ridiculous. Who would have thought that one day, he would fight alongside Ares, the god of war? Put aside the fleeting thoughts of absurdity. Diana's cold eyes fell on the kind grandmother again. This sword. It's for Paradise Island and the dead Amazon warriors. The Vulcan sword swung again, and this time, the cruel and kind grandmother no longer has any means to counterattack. For Darkseid. Pissed, the sharp blade fell. The head of the kind grandmother was cut off directly with a knife. The unfinished words were completely cut off by this sword. Go and tell it in the underworld. Diana shook the blood off her sword. He looked back at Hercules and Ares, who had finished dealing with the Nemesis team. The three of them didn't have time to take a breath. A voice calling for help came from the other side of the channel. Hercules, god of war, have you finished the fight over there? If you don't mind, can you come over and help me? Tony Stark's voice came from the channel. Immediately afterwards, Batman's call came to Diana's ears. Diana, Clark, Black Adam, Dr. Fate. Whoever heard it? Anyway, the Fortress of Solitude needs your help. Diana and Ares looked at each other after receiving the news. Then they rushed towards the main battlefield in unison. Oh my god, haven't you read the comics? Doomsday is the villain. This is something that even an 8-year-old kid over there knows. In the end, you actually regarded it as hope. On the main battlefield, Tony Stark was puzzled by Lex Luthor's actions in creating Doomsday. Come on, Stark, we didn't know we were comic book characters. Batman retorted. Fortunately, the exoskeleton armor on his body is anti-Superman armor. On the multifunctional belt around his waist, there is a specially made weapon for Superman. A grenade gun that fires kryptonite powder. Kryptonite can temporarily suppress this monster. Batman aimed at Doomsday, who would attack everyone on the battlefield indiscriminately, and fired a shot. Grenades as they approached Doomsday. It exploded into a ball of green mist. Roar. Doomsday, who absorbed kryptonite powder. The red energy on his body suddenly dimmed, but it didn't last long. The overwhelming number of demon-like soldiers around them used spears in their hands that could fire energy bullets. Replenished energy for Doomsday. Dense energy bombs and laser cannons fell on Doomsday. Not only did it not cause any harm to him, but it actually made Doomsday stronger. Damn it, can't you guys be smarter? This guy can energy absorbing. It's clear. Tony Stark complained at the demonoid in the air. But helpless. Taking into account the camp issues of both sides, Tony felt that these demonoids would not listen to his orders. Really? Roar. First get rid of this tough guy. The next second, all the demonoids pointed their fingers at Tony. At the same time, in the sky, 2 meteors arrived over the main battlefield one after another. To be precise, Superman punched Steppenwolf away one after another until he hit the sky above the main battlefield. Boom. With a loud bang, Steppenwolf, who was beaten all the way by Superman as a sandbag, was finally punched to the ground. It crashed through several icebergs before stopping. The next second, Superman follows closely behind. He crashed through the glacier and appeared in front of Steppenwolf. Stop. Superman just raised his fist. The bruised Steppenwolf suddenly raised his hand and shouted. The armor on its body has long been in pieces, and its original domineering and ferocious appearance has become very embarrassed. Clark's fist stopped in the air. He wanted to see what else the alien invader had to say. The fight between us is avoidable, Kryptonian. Invasion of Earth. It was a terrible mistake I made. This was not our original plan and I'm sorry for that. Steppenwolf's attitude changed from usual. On the one hand, it was a bit overwhelmed by Superman's beating. On the other hand, he was worried that he had missed Dark's great plan. In fact, our plan is to invade the Marvel Universe and come to Earth just to pass through. As far as I know, the Marvel Universe is also your enemy. So at this point, we should be on the same side. Steppenwolf was sincere and revealed his original plan. Originally, he thought that the invasion of the Earth was just a small incident. That's why it's an extraneous incident. The plan is to collect the 3 mother boxes on Earth first, and then go to the Marvel Universe. But just like every intruder who is full of confidence and treats the enemy as a broken house, thinking that he can destroy the enemy with just a push, Steppenwolf eventually paid the price for his arrogance. And now, he must save it all, because the great Dark Lord Darkseid is waiting for them in another world. As Darkseid's most loyal subordinate, Steppenwolf must never let Darkseid down. How about we both stop fighting? I can return the mother box I grabbed to you, and I can even help you solve the big trouble outside. As long as you agree to let us pass through. Steppenwolf lowered his stance. After all, it really can't beat Superman. And the big trouble it talks about is, of course, the Doomsday created by Lex Luthor. Sounds pretty good. If I had heard it earlier, I might have really considered it. After listening to Steppenwolf's story, Superman smiled slightly and put down his fist. Just when Steppenwolf thought Superman agreed, Superman turned sideways. Modu was revealed standing behind him. Well, this one comes from the Marvel world you want to invade. After Superman dropped these words, ignoring Steppenwolf's confused gaze, he turned to look at Modo. Can you handle him alone? Don't worry, I'm not alone. Modo draws a circle with one hand. The next second, the Hulk who was killing everyone on the battlefield was teleported over. Roar? The Hulk looked around confused. Then his eyes quickly fell on Steppenwolf. It seems there is no problem. Superman saw this and stopped staying. Boom. He took off from the spot and headed to the main battlefield where Doomsday was located. Only the confused Steppenwolf was left, facing Mordo on the magic side and the Hulk on the physical side alone. Steppenwolf is confused at the moment. In his intelligence, DC and Marvel, the two universes of Earth, should be in a tit-for-tat, life-or-death situation. Why are the two forces joining forces now? Hulk, you come first. Or should I come first? Mordo moves his body, but Hulk couldn't wait to rush forward. Roar. Stop. I'm a god. I'm the new one on Apocalypse. Steppenwolf hasn't finished speaking yet. He felt his body light up, and then the scene in front of him started to spin. Password is correct. Steppenwolf's lines successfully activated Loki's Hulk 18 wheels. But Steppenwolf's physical fitness is obviously much stronger than Loki's. One set sold out. Steppenwolf was just a little dizzy. But this clearly pisses off Hulk. If I beat you like this, if you don't die, won't you give me face? Hulk. Attack. Hulk changed his swing to a beating and pinned Steppenwolf to the ground. He punched it with his fists. Boom boom boom. The ground rumbles loudly. The entire glacier collapsed as it shook. But Hulk still didn't feel relieved, so he simply opened his bloody mouth and started biting. Mordo was stunned. He originally wanted to hit him twice to relieve his anger. As a result, looking at the situation, forget it, Hulk, just be happy. At the same time, a strange trend formed on the battlefield on the other side. It can almost be understood as a confrontation between two parties. As a result, a neutral boss appeared in the middle. Doomsday is this neutral boss, with physical fitness comparable to Superman and unlimited energy-absorbing properties. Doomsday soon became the center of attention on the battlefield. Except for the stupid demonoids who are still attacking it, everyone in Zhonglian and the Avengers Alliance has tacitly distanced themselves from him. The good news is, Doomsday is helping us destroy the army of demonoids. The bad news is, as time goes on, it will get stronger and stronger. It finally got to the point where none of us could solve it. Everyone is helpless against Doomsday. The abnormal recovery speed allows Doomsday to recover quickly no matter what kind of blow it takes. What's even scarier is, it will also evolve targeted defense measures in response to this attack. Damn it, the first thing I did after I got back was to buy the DC editorial department. Then fire all the artists who designed Doomsday. Tony Stark didn't know what those people were thinking. To actually design such a perverted monster, it's the Mother Box. Dr. Fate suddenly thought of something. In the future I see, although Doomsday is powerful, it is not so powerful. It's the power of the Mother Box that caused all this. In the normal timeline, Lex Luthor used technology from the Kryptonian ship to create Doomsday. Note that there is no Mother Box in this, and now. The Day of Destruction appeared in front of everyone. It is a hybrid product that combines Kryptonian technology and the Apocalypse Mother Box. So, who else can defeat him? A question couldn't help but arise in everyone's mind. Sudden boom, accompanied by a sonic boom. The candidate in everyone's mind appears. I shouldn't be late. Clark, the earthly god, appears with his big red cape. Clark. Behind you. However, Superman's dazzling debut did not have time to last for 2 more seconds. 2 parallel rays swept towards him. It's Doomsday. The memory engraved in his bones makes Doomsday hate Superman. Superman appears. Doomsday, who was still attacking the surrounding demons indiscriminately, suddenly had a clear target. That's Superman. Boom. Doomsday jumped to his knees. A deep pit suddenly opened in the ground beneath his feet. But its burly body crashed into Superman like a cannonball. The power is so powerful that even Superman cannot resist it. Oops. The faces of everyone who were still watching the show suddenly changed. Ares, Hercules, Wonder Woman, and Black Adam passed by every minute to try to support Superman. But soon, everyone was defeated one after another. Not only has Doomsday's power not been reduced, but it has grown stronger with the attacks of everyone. Roar. Doomsday locked onto Superman. The bone spurs growing on its hands can easily pierce Superman's steel body. Its power crushes Superman. The speed is gradually catching up with Superman. The pure numerical value makes Doomsday a well-deserved boss on the battlefield. Ragnarok. Seeing that everyone was defeated, Tony Stark quickly sent the clone Thor to the battlefield. Ragnarok is the name of the clone Thor. Clone Thor also lives up to expectations. This blonde man who looked exactly like Thor, wielding the hammer and using the thunder, actually knocked back the Doomsday once. But only once. Roar, when the clone Thor throws Mjolnir again. Doomsday roared and reached out directly to grab Mjolnir. After all, the fake doesn't have Odin's divine blessing. Thunder. Seeing that the weapon was taken away, clone Thor roared and rushed over with bare hands. He was a clone created by Tony using DNA from one of Thor's hairs. He has almost the same physical qualities as Thor. But he's not Thor, no divine power either. Who? W degree. The moment the clone Thor rushed up. Doomsday roared. He used his backhand to seize the Mjolnir and slap it on the clone Thor's head like a brick. Boom. There was a loud bang. Half of the cloned Thor's face was directly turned into pulp. What is shocking is that there are actually a lot of cables in its head. Apparently, he is not a complete clone of life. It's a mixture of cloning technology and mechanical modification. Get out of the way. Tony wanted to direct the clone Thor to hide. But it was too late. Doomsday's fighting skills come from the body's original owner, General Zod. Its attacks are so connected that it makes you breathless. After successfully hitting the clone Thor, Doomsday just dropped the fake Mjolnir. Then, he reached out and grabbed the clone Thor's head and shoulders and tore them hard. Stop. Superman, who had just been knocked away by Doomsday, still wanted to stop him. As a result, as soon as he flew up, he was repelled by the rays shot out of the eyes of the Doomsday sun. Roar. Finally, with the roar of the Doomsday, Thor's head was cloned and pulled directly from his shoulders. The cruel and powerful scene immediately stunned everyone. Diana, who had just been punched away by Doomsday. It was difficult to get up from the ground. The heavy blow delivered by Doomsday just now almost shattered her divine shield. Now even when she gets up, Diana's hands are shaking. Others are no better than her. Even Hercules, who has the power to lift the sky, felt the disparity in strength for the first time. You must know that the last time he wrestled with Superman, the two were evenly matched. But now, the power of Doomsday undoubtedly exceeds the two. Wow. Just when everyone was shocked by the power of Doomsday, a burly figure suddenly jumped out of the cold seawater. Ha ha ha. What's SpongeBob SquarePants? That's all. He was punched into the sea by the Hulk before. Darkseid's silly son Calabac, who later fought with Aquaman. Jumping out of the icy water. In his hand, he was still holding SpongeBob, who had been knocked unconscious. Sorry, it was Aquaman Arthur. Come. Give me another opponent. Calabac looked up to the sky and shouted. Avengers Alliance and Junglian. Dozens of people were silent for a second. A very tacit understanding guided Calabac to a new goal. Haha, look at it. Calabac didn't say anything, and just started running and jumping. Without even thinking about it, just fly towards the son of destruction. As Darkseid's first child, Darkseid's eldest son, Calabac possesses unimaginable power. But there is a small problem, that is, his IQ is almost inversely proportional to his strength. And this is why Darkseid is unwilling to recognize this son. 2. Upright. When he saw Calabac, he rushed forward obediently. Everyone in the Avengers Alliance and Junglian felt like they had been fooled. And at the same time, under Darkseid, the last general to invade Earth this time, Apocalypse star scientist Dicid was also angered by the scene in the surveillance video. Calabac. You. Dicid has received the news that the Nemesis team led by Kind Grandma has been completely wiped out. If something goes wrong with Calabac now, then the only combatant left on their trip was Steppenwolf. But Dicid doesn't know. Steppenwolf's situation at the moment is not easy either. After all, not everyone can be like Sun Wukong, who can be eaten into someone's stomach and still run out alive. You are going to fail. On the operating table in front of Dicid, Cyborg, half human and half machine, was dismembered into scattered parts. At this moment, looking at the expression on Dicid's face, Cyborg couldn't help but laugh. Fail? Dicid turned back sharply, but it was just this brief moment. Dicid discovered that Cyborg, who was originally lying on the operating table, was missing. At the moment of doubt, a happy voice sounded from the side. Haha, it seems I won in the end. The Flash saves Cyborg from the operating table. And announced that he successfully won the battle between speedsters. Yeah? Why do I feel like you didn't save me completely? At this time, Quicksilver's voice sounded from the side. The Flash turned around and saw that the other half of Cyborg's body had been saved by him. I saved my head, I should be considered the winner. Then I also saved the heart. The energy source. I saved more human parts, Then I saved more mechanical parts. Why don't you say pretend? I saved this. I saved. Watch as two speedsters use their body parts as bargaining chips in the competition. Cyborg was completely numb. Can't you two just call it a tie? And, are you sure you want to continue arguing in front of this guy? At Cyborg's reminder, Quicksilver and the Flash both looked at Dicid. This mad scientist from the planet Apocalypse created many tortuous weapons for Darkseid. But he originally didn't have any special abilities. Facing the unkind looks of the two speedsters, Dicid's expression changed slightly. Someone is coming. Someone come quickly. Dicid tried to call the demonoid soldiers in the Apocalypse Star battleship. But after calling for a long time, no one came. Don't bother, when you see the two of us, it means there is no bad guy in this battleship. The Flash finished. Looking back at Quicksilver. I'm not wrong. Everything happened between Lightning and Flint. Okay. Stop using your bad jokes. Get rid of this guy quickly, there seems to be a big problem outside. Quicksilver said, walking towards Dicid with a magic sword in hand. I am a member of the Darkseid elite. If you kill me, the great Dark King Darkhead will not let you go. Dicid stepped back step by step. The skinny palm was hidden behind, and he quietly held a remote control device. That device is connected to two mother boxes that have been found on Earth before. It is the mother box protected by Atlantis, and the mother box protected by Paradise Island. Dicid looked panicked, but he held the remote control device tightly behind his back. Just press the button. The energy of the two mother boxes will burst out, destroying all life in the spacecraft. Although doing so would destroy a valuable interstellar mainship. But in Dicid's opinion, his own life is obviously much more important than this spaceship. As long as I live, I can design more spaceships for Darkseid. Dicid stepped back step by step. There is a hidden teleporter on the wall behind it. Dicid can be teleported back to Apocalypse before the energy of the mother box explodes. But the problem is, there is an expert in teleportation magic on the field. Well, these are quite interesting coordinates. It looks like it should be your base camp. Quicksilver suddenly disappeared in front of Dicid's eyes. And the real Quicksilver has come behind him and opened the hidden teleportation device. A translucent teleportation light curtain appeared. In the screen, the Apocalypse Star with its furnace-like surface comes into view. Dicid finally panicked. Do you know Thanos? He is being held in our Apocalypse Star prison. As long as you are willing to let me go, I'll release Thanos immediately when I get back. Dicid tried to use Thanos as a bargaining chip. But Quicksilver smiled after hearing this. No need. It's better to leave this guy to you. After Quicksilver finished speaking, he looked back at the Flash. How about doing me a favor? Happy to oblige. The Flash understands. It instantly turned into a red lightning and disappeared. Just when Dicid was at a loss, Quicksilver suddenly pushed it into the teleportation light curtain. Go home. Dicid was confused. But I saw that I was really teleported back to the sky above Apocalypse. The confused expression gradually turned into a cruel smile. You two idiots. You really dare to take me. Dicid said as he pressed the remote control device in his hand. But the Apocalypse starship on the other side of the teleportation light curtain was not exploded by the power of the mother box. Look around you. Quicksilver waved his hand to Dicid and then closed the transmission device. Dicid turned back sharply. The smile suddenly froze. I saw two shining mother boxes falling towards the Apocalypse Star along with it. Oh, damn. Although there are a total of 15 Dark Elites under Darkseid. But this time there are only 4 people, Steppenwolf, Kind Granny, Kalibak and Dicid, who invaded the Earth. With Dicid gone offline, the Apocalypse army that invaded the Earth was completely leaderless. The demonoid who lost his command also became a headless fly. No longer a threat. Kalibak, the only surviving Dark Elite, is obviously not a commanding talent. And this Tihanhan actually ignored everyone from Junglian and Avengers Alliance. I went directly to challenge the only neutral boss on the field. My name is Kalibak, son of Darkseid, new gods on Apocalypse. Kalibak roared towards Doomsday. Then he was quickly slapped back by Doomsday. The power that Kalibak was proud of seemed so worthless in front of the Doomsday. But this Tihanhan obviously didn't intend to give up. He roared, rushing towards the Doomsday again. Doomsday was angry too. Originally it just wanted to kill Superman. But Kalibak's repeated obstructions completely angered it. Roar. After roaring angrily, Doomsday and Kalibak fought together and crushed the latter in an instant. But Calabac is not without any credit, at least. Its appearance gave everyone present a chance to adjust. I have one kryptonite grenade left here. Batman took out the last grenade filled with kryptonite powder and loaded it into the gun chamber. This is the last chance to weaken Doomsday, unless absolutely necessary. Batman would never fire this shot. How about having Superman take this guy into space? Black Adam made a suggestion. He had just faced off against Doomsday. As a result, in one encounter, the power of the 6 gods of Egypt was completely crushed by the unreasonable power of Doomsday, and they were no match at all. Not so good. There is a similar plot in the comics, and this is how Superman died. Tony Stark objected. As he spoke, he looked at Batman and asked, "Are you sure you didn't build some kryptonite spear or something?" "No," Batman shook his head, "but there is still a complete piece of kryptonite in my Batcave." "Hey, you didn't tell me earlier." After hearing this, Tony Stark quickly called Quicksilver. "Quicksilver. Copy that. By the way, I've arrived at the Batcave." Quicksilver teleported directly to the Batcave and began looking for kryptonite. But Doomsday didn't give him this time. Roar. Calabac's attack did not kill Doomsday. Instead, Doomsday absorbed more energy and became more powerful. Under the continuous bombardment of 2 thick heat rays. Finally, Calabac met his death. If Superman's heat ray is just 2 parallel thin red lines, the heat ray of Doomsday is 2 huge light pillars. Under continuous bombardment, the body of the new god on Apocalypse also looked so weak. The flesh and blood of Calabac's upper body was completely destroyed by the blast, leaving only charred bones. "I am destruction." After killing Calabac, Doomsday, who had been roaring like a beast, actually said a complete sentence. And this sentence, it's like a declaration. Declare it to be an invincible presence on this battlefield. "Quicksilver, if you find the kryptonite, give it to me. I have a way to destroy Doomsday." Superman already has a death wish in his heart. That's right. While in the Marvel Universe, his super sense saw some comics in the DC editorial department. One of them is called The Death of Superman. He is ready to follow the plot and die together with the Doomsday. Haven't waited for Quicksilver to respond. A figure that no one expected suddenly arrived. Accompanied by lightning and thunder, stormy. If at the end of the day there is still one person who is qualified to hold divine power, that must be me. Thor Odinson. The earth of the DC universe is suddenly shrouded in dark clouds. Crazy rolling thunder. Waves of terrifying pressure descended from the thunder layer. Even Doomsday couldn't help but raise his head. The thunder fell down one after another. The lightning is surrounded by white runes. Then, among the lightning and runes, a figure slowly descended. Blonde winged helmet. Scale cloak. The only difference was that he was no longer holding Mjolnir, but the storm axe. The collision of universes is such a lively event, but you didn't even invite me. Thor, who had been offline for a long time, fell from the sky. Notice. It's the real Thor. Thor, your eyes. Tony Stark was shocked to find out. It's been a long time since I've seen Thor's left eye turn out to be the same as his father Odin's. Blind and wearing a black blindfold. Don't change the subject, Stark. That despicable counterfeit called Ragnarok. I will come back to trouble you again. Thor grasped the storm axe tightly. Hercules was shocked to see a familiar power in Thor. It's the power of Odin. No, Thor shook his head slightly. His calm face was filled with unimaginable rage. But he didn't vent it to his friends, he just buried it deep in his heart. "No, my friend, it is only the power of Thor." Thor said. "Jump up with this unimaginable great power. Odin is dead. The person in front of you now is the god King Thor. Bring it on, monster." Thor carries thunder and storm. The terrifying energy shocked even Superman. Hercules and Ares, both sons of the god King, were also shocked. Heavenly Father. Top Heavenly Father, just like the original Odin. Hercules couldn't imagine what Thor had gone through during this time. On Thor, Hercules only felt anger and pain. Roar, and the Doomsday is ready for the first time. It felt a far more terrifying power in Thor than Superman. Doomsday was the first to attack. Boom. A heat ray as thick as a beam of light burst out. But Thor jumped up and ignored the ray of destruction. Holding the red light beam hard, an axe falls. Boom. The earth shook violently. Stormbreaker struck out a beam of white light. Divide half of the Arctic continent into 2 parts. Countless glaciers and land disappeared in an instant, leaving only a bottomless ravine. Seen from space, it's like there's an extra scar on the Earth. Superman turned his head sharply and looked at Tony Stark. You guys at Marvel have such great people, why didn't you tell me earlier? Tony also understood what Superman meant and shook his head blankly. I don't make it. Tony was completely confused. Because everyone knows that Thor is not that powerful. The facts are here. Roar, for the first time, Doomsday was hit hard. Its body is split in two from shoulders to crotch. The body was directly split into two halves, but it's still not dead. Not only that, the powerful self-healing ability also allows it to quickly bring its two halves of body together. The rapidly growing muscle fibers are intertwined with each other, blending and converging like liquids. What's even more frightening is that the heavy damage also caused Doomsday to start a new round of evolution. Bone-like armor began to grow on its body surface. The original bone spurs are covered outward. You should chop my head off next time. Doomsday raised his head ferociously and made a pretentious remark. The result is the next second. A grenade filled with kryptonite powder fell on it. Bang. The grenade exploded. Green kryptonite powder covered Doomsday. For a moment, Doomsday's body stopped self-healing. Its rapid evolution, super healing, super strength and other characteristics. The moment he came into contact with kryptonite powder, everything disappeared. Although kryptonite powder can only have a short-term suppressive effect. But enough is enough. Thank you for reminding. Thor lands near Doomsday. Stormbreaker was brought up again. This time, he chopped off the head. Phew, I finally found it. Kryptonite. Kryptonite the size of a fist file. I found it. Who should I give it to now? At the same time Thor's axe fell. Quicksilver finally found the kryptonite hidden by Batman in the Batcave. Teleported back. But what he responded to was unanimous silence from everyone. Found it. Fine. Put it back. Quicksilver looked confused. When he turned around, he discovered that Doomsday had fallen to Thor's second axe. My friend, it's over here. Do what you have to do. Kill the Queen of Destruction. Thor actually raised his head. The only remaining right eye seemed to penetrate the cosmic barrier. With Chu-Shu who is far away from the universe, 4 eyes. 3 eyes are facing each other. Thor, the Rune King. Despite the time gem, Chu-Shu doesn't have the habit of spying on others all day long. So he didn't know what Thor had gone through during this time. Why is one eye blind? Why did you inherit the power of Odin? And why does it seem to have gained the power of runes? Chu-Shu suddenly became very interested in Thor's experience during this period. But now, he has more important things to do. First we have to restore the audio in the recycle bin. Ahem. Chu-Shu took out her cell phone. Restore the originally deleted audio of the phrase, "Little Ancient One." Then the real business began. Infinite gems, help me separate the two universes. Snap. Chu-Shu snapped his fingers. The 6 infinite gems that were originally wrapped in the all-black death sword suddenly broke free and flew out. Time, space, reality, strength, soul. Fragments of the 6 the power of rules from the beginning of creation poured into Chu-Shu's body. Boom. That moment, Chu-Shu suddenly heard a loud noise in his mind. That's a picture of the beginning of the universe. And now, all the power from the beginning of the world fell into the hands of Chu-Shu. His strength cannot be quantified, because what he controls is no longer a specific power. There is no hierarchy, no limit. Some are merely stewards of a universe. But that's enough. The eternity of the Marvel Universe opened its eyes again, eyes full of stars, looking at Chu-Shu with complicated emotions. Infinity, annihilation, and death also manifested themselves in bodies. The 4 major abstractions of the Marvel Universe. Watching this scene together, observers and many great gods in the Marvel Universe also looked sideways. But they have long been worth mentioning. He is not even qualified to leave his name in this section. The other side. DC Universe. The physical incarnation of the goddess of destiny. Quietly watching a huge amount of palm pressed towards the DC Universe. That's the embodied Chu-Shu, just like the mythical story he told Atreze. He is like the mythical Ancient One, holding a universe in one hand. Separate each other. Pity. The goddess of destiny sighed slightly. Then, he saw Chu-Shu's big hands pressing on her body. Push her away. The goddess of destiny glanced at Chu-Shu doubtfully. In the end, he refused to give up. Allow yourself to be pushed away. But not everyone wants to see this happen. For some beings, integrating the two universes is of greater benefit to them. The anti-monitor is changes in the DCEU universe. It has already attracted the attention of the beings above the DC multi-universe. The counter-monitor is one of them. What appears this time is not the anti-monitor who is the main villain in the linked plots in TV series such as Green Arrow, Supergirl, and The Flash, but a higher dimension, the true counter-monitor in the sixth dimension. Mobius. He is the child of Perpetua, the creator goddess of the DC multi-universe. Is outside the multi-universe, the master of the antimatter space that protects the multi-universe from being destroyed. But now, the DC multi-universe, because of the Wall of Origin's antimatter space that protects Monitor Kong, is in vain. The anti-monitor, who was very dissatisfied with this, urgently needed a force to break the Wall of Origin. And now, in the many DC universes, there is actually a universe that has broken through the Wall of Origin. Contact with other universes outside. Stop your behavior of dividing the universe. Give me your power. I will grant you death with mercy. Multiple levels of anti-monitors descended on Chu Shu. He wants to integrate the DCEU universe with Marvel. Use this as a channel. Break the Wall of Origin. How stupid are you? If you stop just when you say it, wouldn't I be embarrassed? Chu Shu responded unceremoniously to the anti-monitor. The collection of the 6 gems gave him the confidence to face diversity. Stupid frog in the well. Do you think this is all I have? The rejected counter-monitor. Say nothing. He directly took out his big killer weapon, anti-life equation. When Chu Shu saw this, he didn't talk nonsense to him. He raised his hand and it was an infinite force. Two great forces collide outside the universe. The ripples caused. 2 universes were rewritten in an instant. DCEU universe. Spider-Man, Peter Kent, is working at the Daily Bugle. He handed the photos he took of Spider-Man to the editor-in-chief, only to be scolded in the face. Spider-Man again. Spider-Man again. Can't you do something else? Do you know what everyone is interested in outside now? It's Hyperion. The editor threw Spider-Man photos at Peter Kent. But Peter Kent lowered his head, thinking, I am not familiar with Hyperion, so I am embarrassed. Just as I was thinking about it, my cell phone rang. Open it and take a look. It was Chief Gordon sending the message. Spider-Man, Penguin and Green Goblin Osborn are doing evil in Gotham City, please deal with it quickly. Peter Kent immediately responded with a message after reading it. Spider-Man receives it. Marvel Universe. Superman, Clark Parker, just came out of the New York Daily News. The editor asked him to write an article to discredit Superman. How can I discredit this? Just when Clark Parker was confused. He received a message from Ultron. Brainiac is about to invade Earth. Superman, we need your help now. Ultron is now the protector of Earth, and it delivers the news to every hero. Green Arrow and Black Widow are ready to go. Bucky, the Winter Soldier, has turned into a woman and is having sex with Captain America Steve. The two became a couple from World War E to the present. Anyway, all kinds of strange things appear in the 2 universes. Superman Clark Parker clearly remembers that he was adopted by a couple in New York. Ben Parker and Aunt May. Raise him up. All these memories are very real to Superman. No one noticed that there was anything wrong with the world they lived in. Everyone really takes this for granted. Superman should belong to Marvel. And Spider-Man should belong to DC. Until someone from the DC universe discovered something unusual. Our memories seem to have been rewritten. There must be something going on that is contrary to our knowledge. Batman found everyone from the Justice League. He's in front of Spider-Man, Hyperion, Luke Cage, Quicksilver and more. Pointed out the problem. You guys shouldn't be from our world. How can it be? Peter Kent was stunned. I grew up in Kansas. The adoptive father's name is Jonathan Kent. The adoptive mother's name is Martha. All these memories are so real, how could they not be from this world? That's the problem. There must be some force that affects our cognition. Batman's face was serious. This power has exceeded his imagination. How can you be sure? Bruce, we have known each other for more than 10 years, do you think I am fake? Hyperion slammed the table angrily. Yes, we have known each other for so long and fought side by side so many times. Why are you the only one who realizes something is wrong? Quicksilver also raised questions about Batman. Why? Because I'm Batman, beyond the universe. 6 gems. Every energy collision between Chu Shu and the multi-anti-monitor. It will have an unimaginable impact on both universes. A certain character may have belonged to DC just a second ago. But the next moment it was Marvel, their memories, their gender, even their life experiences. Everything is changing rapidly, it's changing every minute. And all these changes are just the aftermath of the battle outside the universe. Haha, this universe is too small, your power is obviously not enough. The anti-monitor seems to have noticed something. Laughed loudly. As the ultimate artifact of Marvel's universe, the strength of infinite gems is directly related to the strength of the universe. And 19,999 FL serves as a derivative universe of the movie universe. Its intensity. Naturally, it is not as good as comic universes such as Marvel 616. Chu Shu also discovered this. As the battle continues, he has gradually tested the limits of infinite gems. But the power of the anti-monitor remains unfathomable. Okay, I won't play with you anymore. Bye. Chu Shu originally had no intention of fighting the anti-monitors to the end. Then a thought came to my mind. He took out an ordinary card with an exorcism ritual drawn on it in advance. F*K. Who would have expected? The exorcism card comes out. Whether it's eternity, infinity, death, annihilation in the Marvel universe, or the destiny of the DC universe, the giant beast. The two bosses of the universe who were still watching the show. They rushed out one after another. Stop, stop, stop. Calm down. Don't mess around. If it doesn't work, we'll help you fight. Put that little card away, please. No matter which universe boss they were, they all looked frightened. However, before Chu Shu could respond, everything around him suddenly stopped. Whether it is the multi-level anti-monitors or the big guys from DC and Marvel, they are all frozen. Immediately afterwards, in stillness, an old acquaintance stepped out of the white light. Haha, I just said we will meet again, right? After Lucifer Morningstar appears, while saying hello to Chu Shu. At the same time, he stretched out his finger and pointed it lightly at the counter monitor in the distance. Wow, there was no reaction from the multi-level anti-monitors. But the body quickly disintegrated like fragments. To disappear completely. My friend, you seem to have many questions. Lucifer Morningstar kills the anti-monitor instantly. He clapped his hands. Walk up to Chu Shu. Chu Shu does have a lot of questions. After all, that is a multi-dimensional anti-monitor that even the power of 6 gems has never been able to defeat. As a result, I was killed by you with just one finger? No. Brother, which version of Lucifer are you? Comic version? When we meet again, let me introduce myself again. I am Lucifer Birdstar. The only one in the DC universe, the first thing. You can understand that I am the opposite created by God to make his own existence clear. If I cease to exist, then God will become obscure. Definitely I have appeared in various capacities, such as Lucifer Morningstar pointed at the giant beast on DC's side. Same as last time we met. Lucifer still showed no malice. Instead, we started chatting with Chu Shu like old friends. You killed the anti-monitor? Chu Shu asked. No, this universe is too small to accommodate the real him. What I just eliminated was just a duplication of his projection from the 6th dimension. As you see me now. Lucifer Morningstar answered Chu Shu's question truthfully. And said that he is just a duplication. Definitely, my friend, if you need help. Then I can also go to the 6th dimension and help you kill the real anti-monitor. I'm happy to oblige. Finally, Lucifer made a promise. But Chu Shu knows better than anyone. There is no such thing as a free lunch. What's more, Lucifer and himself are just two-way friends. Not even friends. What do you want from me? Chu Shu asked directly. I will answer this question last. You can ask me a few other questions first. I know you have a lot of questions. Lucifer said. Chu Shu took a deep breath, even though there was no air to breathe here. But habit still made him make an inhaling motion. Why are they so scared? Chu Shu asked. This question naturally refers to when I took out the exorcism card just now. Why are the bosses of both universes so scared? I'm afraid you have to find the answer to this yourself. The smile on Lucifer's face froze, showing some embarrassment. Obviously the ultimate boss of DC. I didn't expect that Chu Shu's first question would be difficult for me. But one thing I can be sure of is that if you use this thing here, both universes before our eyes will be subject to unimaginable changes. Probably destruction. After listening to Lucifer's explanation, Chu Shu's first reaction was, how is that possible? This is just an exorcism circle to expel evil spirits. How could it destroy? Sudden. Chu Shu realized something. The system's definition of evil and expulsion depends on where you are. I am in the main dimension of Marvel, and everything outside the main dimension can be regarded as evil. In the same way, if you are in the dark dimension, hell dimension, or other dimension, then people from the main dimension can also be regarded as evil spirits. Thinking of this, Chu Shu looked at where he was now, and suddenly everything became clear. I'm not in any universe right now. Activate the exorcism ritual at this time. In both universes, any existence that threatens me will be regarded as evil and expelled, including the incarnations of Marvel and DC's cosmic entities, Eternity and Destiny. In other words, both universes will be expelled. Chu Shu briefly analyzed it and finally came to an outrageous conclusion. Because Eternity and Destiny are the physical incarnations of two universes. They were both expelled. It's like both universes have been expelled. After coming to this conclusion, Chu Shu almost lost his grip on the playing cards in his hand. An ordinary playing card with a few designs scrawled on it can destroy the universe. System, do you dare to be more outrageous? Dare. It seems you have figured out why. Lucifer saw Chu Shu's expression and knew that the answer to the previous question had been found. So, is there anything else you want to know? Lucifer asked again. Gone. Answer my previous question, Lucifer. What do you want from me? Chu Shu gets straight to the point. Can. But before answering this question, let me show you something first. Lucifer waved his hand after speaking. The entire DCEU universe collapsed and was destroyed in an instant, like a bubble being popped. Immediately afterwards, the destroyed universe quickly reorganized and turned into a big screen. Chu Shu was speechless. The reason for such a big battle is just to get a screen, right? I'm used to pretending, sorry. Lucifer cleared the screen a little. An endless huge picture appeared in front of Chu Shu. It is the scene of the universe and starry sky. Well, it should be good to play games with this thing, and it's fun to look at on the big screen. Chu Shu commented on the scene before him. Want it? I can give you one if you want. Lucifer was as responsive as ever. The attitude was so good that Chu Shu even wondered if this guy wanted to poke himself. No, I'm not interested in games. In order to protect herself, Chu Shu decisively refused. Lucifer didn't say much. Point your finger in the air. A huge picture composed of the entire DC universe began to play. In the picture, a planet with a furnace-like surface gradually appears, which is Darkseid's apocalypse. The following plot is not surprising. It was Thanos who first arrived on the planet Apocalypse and wrote the scene where the conflict broke out in Dashad. The villains of two universes fight in the endless space. Why are you showing me this? Chu Shu asked curiously. A movie version of Thanos and a movie version of Darkseid. What's so cool about fighting? It definitely broadens your horizons, my friend. Want to see the truly shocking side of the universe? Lucifer just finished speaking. The battle scene between Thanos and Darkseid quickly zoomed out. The camera zooms out from a specific small planet belt to galaxies and finally to the outside of the universe. And here, an unimaginably powerful Thanos. We are fighting against a colorful rectangular pattern. That's Thanos, the strongest Thanos. And that is Darkseid, the real Darkseid, his true form. Lucifer introduced. See the picture in front of you. Chu Shu finally understood why Ancient One always said that the water in the Marvel universe is very deep. Really, American comics are so outrageous. System, can you allow me to safely travel to a certain Japanese comic world next time? For example, Pirates, Naruto, Sword God, Custom Girl Review, Alchemist, Monster Girl, Soprano. Anyone will do. Friend, do you remember what I just said? The universe you are in is too small to accommodate a true anti-monitor. There's no room for Darkseid, there's no room for Thanos, and there's no room for me, 1 in a million. Lucifer began to explain. You can think of these universes as buckets of different file sizes. They have limited capacity. Once there are beings that exceed their capacity and force their way in, the universe will be exploded. Definitely, this is just an exaggerated description. The universe is not so easily exploded, but it will limit the entry of multidimensional beings. Limit their strength and allow them to enter only through projection. It's the universe's way of protecting itself. But it's not a good thing for the life inside. Just like you. Lucifer changed the topic and brought the topic to Chu Shu. According to what you said over there, You've reached level single universe in your original Marvel universe, right? But you know what? Your power is actually much more than that. It's just that the universe you're in limits your performance. Your level single universe, it's far more powerful than you think. The corners of Lucifer's mouth raised slightly. He confidently showed Chu Shu a higher dimensional picture. He believes that no strong person will not be moved after seeing the vast space beyond his cognition. So, my friend, want to come to a wider world? Lucifer made an invitation gesture. Turn sideways. A portal to an unknown universe was revealed. This is my world. There, your strength will grow wildly without any restrictions. When you come back again, even just duplication will be enough to shake the multi-universe here. Lucifer had a confident smile on his face. He believed that no strong man would be willing to stay in a place that would limit himself. The upper limit of this universe is right here. The so-called level single universe is nothing more than destroying a few planets and at most one galaxy. But if you follow him, then the sea will be vast and the fish will leap. The sky is high and the birds can fly. By saying so much, are you trying to trick me into going to northern Myanmar? Chu Shu said suddenly. Ah. Lucifer almost didn't turn the corner. I have said so much eloquently, and I have given you examples and analyzed the pros and cons. So you took me for a liar? I, Lucifer Morningstar. The first person under God, in Marvel, there are at least existences like the original Transcendent or the Tribunal of Life. If I have ill intentions towards you, then do I still need to lie? I know you are very strong, there is no need to lie to me. But you must be hiding something. Chu Shu is convinced of this conclusion. Because this is how he deceived those demons, and it was his wish to hide his true nature. And Lucifer talked for a long time. The whole article is about how I am good to you and how I am beneficial to you. Not a word was mentioned about what benefits Chu Shu would bring to him when he entered his world. I understood something long ago. If you can get a certain product for free without paying any price, then there is no doubt that you yourself are the price of the product. Chu Shu bluntly pointed out the problem. Just kidding. After playing Penguin Family Bucket for more than 10 years, Chu Shu knows better than anyone else that free is the most expensive. Well, I really can't hide it from you. Lucifer shook his head helplessly. Now that it has been exposed, he has nothing to hide. I admit that I concealed something, but everything I just said is true. Let's use the bucket theory just now as an example. Each universe has its own capacity limit, theoretically. This cap can never be changed. But? Chu Shu knew there must be a but. But, I don't know where this alien like you came from. I don't know how you did it either. But the universe you are in has indeed become stronger. If the maximum capacity of the universe you were in was 100 when I last met you, then its capacity is now 150. Compare the universe to a bucket, and you are the only chisel. You can break through the barriers of other universes and quietly absorb the origins of other universes. This process not only nourishes you personally, but also nourishes the universe in which you live. Lucifer slowly revealed what he was hiding. I understand, it's the so-called low-level prehistoric, medium-level prehistoric, and high-level prehistoric routines. So you are going to trick me and want me to help you upgrade the universe? Chu Shu probably understood what Lucifer was thinking. Ahem. How can you say you're lying? We are all friends, helping each other and getting what we need. Lucifer coughed lightly and admitted Chu Shu's statement. To put it more simply, that is, when Chu Shu becomes stronger, he can also make the universe where he lives become stronger. Upgrade the world of martial arts to the world of cultivating immortals. Upgrade the low-level prehistoric to high-level prehistoric. That's pretty much what it means. I wipe it. No wonder I have no friendship with Yongheng, but she said she wanted to cover her because she was hungry. Emotions are not about him protecting me, but about me supporting him. Chu Shu finally figured out his previous doubts. As the physical embodiment of the Marvel Universe, Eternity is definitely the first to discover any changes in the universe. I've said everything I need to say. How about it? Do you want to follow me pie from now on? I promise you will enjoy spicy food. I will get you whatever you want. Now that everything was said, Lucifer stopped hiding it. The intention of solicitation is directly stated. With you here, this Marvel universe has endless potential. In the future, it may also be possible to be promoted to an all-powerful universe above diversity, or even the next day. But that's too far away after all. At the rate you are growing, this universe will become a burden to you sooner or later. It's better to follow me. Start directly from Almighty. Lucifer's words are provocative. It's very much like the pyramid schemers look like when they try to spread the pie for you. How about it? Think about it. But he had to admit it. Lucifer's advice is indeed attractive. The battle between Thanos and Darkseid in higher dimensions is indeed shocking. Can become that kind of awesome and coaxing person. It is indeed much better than the current level single universe which can only explode stars with one hit. But I hate skipping levels and brushing dungeons the most. Compared to reaching the sky in one step, I prefer the pleasure of developing a little bit. So, sorry bro. Choo still rejected Lucifer's proposal. There are many reasons. For example, Tony Stark promised to release a demo next month. For example, after returning home, he would use the uvula's audio to taunt Tucci. For example, Gwen hasn't gotten her first kill yet. For example, Atalan's crystal has only been conquered halfway. For example, I also want to know why Thor suddenly became the Rune King. Etc., etc. Too many to count. Don't forget the most important thing. Choo's newly created account, World's #1 Hell King, has not yet reached the world's #1 rank. Lucifer is gone. Before leaving, he restored the destroyed DC universe to its original state. And left a piece of advice to Choo. I respect your choice, friend, although you may not necessarily regard me as a friend. But I still have to tell you, because of your special ability, sooner or later other people who want to upgrade the world will notice you. And those people may not respect your choice. After listening to Lucifer's advice, Choo was very moved. Brothers, since you consider me a friend, then borrow some money. The power of the morning star that brings the dead back to life is pretty good. Lucifer silently left a trail of morning star power. Then left. So generous this time. If the power of the morning star last time was just a thin golden thread, what Lucifer left behind this time was a wandering dragon. In terms of energy level, the power of this morning star is enough to create a level single universe strongman out of thin air. Referring to the level single universe in the movie universe. Choo now understands. The same as level single universe. However, due to the limitations of the universe level, the expressive power may not be as powerful as the comic version of Heavenly Father. But it doesn't matter, the future is promising. Stop. You must not. With Lucifer gone, the many great gods of the two universes who were originally motionless resumed their movements again. It was as if time had stood still for them. Had no idea what had just happened. Until I saw Choo change his position. And the anti-monitor disappears. Only Eternal Life, Tianming and other cosmic bosses notice the anomaly. It seems like some more powerful force is coming. Is it our true nature? Annihilation in the Marvel 4 abstracts raises questions. According to Lucifer, these great gods of the universe, including eternity, are actually duplications projected by the real 4 abstractions of higher dimensions. It's just that they were born in these independent universes, have independent thinking, and share weal and woe with these universes. Zai. What just happened? Eternal Gaze looked at Choo. Don't call me bastard, I'll settle the score with you later. Choo responded unceremoniously to eternity. Death, annihilation, infinity, the other 3 abstractions were all dumbfounded. Even the goddess of destiny from DC Next Door was confused. No? Are people so fierce nowadays? Do you even dare to scold the physical incarnation of your own universe? Only the eternity that knows the inside story remains silent. He, who had been silently making a fortune, couldn't help but have a thought. Does this kid already know what he is capable of? Wait. When I finish things. Choo's voice stopped suddenly. Where's my gem? Choo originally planned to continue using infinite gems to separate the two universes. When I lowered my head, I saw. The gem was gone. F*K. Why are you so generous this time? Choo knew who stole the gems without having to guess. After all, there is ability who has managed to achieve this step quietly. Who else besides Lucifer Morningstar? I summon Lucifer Morningstar in the DC worldview. TMD. Lucifer, get out of here, Choo scolded mercilessly. On the side, the physical incarnation of the DC universe, Goddess of Destiny, was shocked after hearing this. This guy doesn't like scolding, slip away. Afraid of being implicated, the Goddess of Destiny slipped back to the DC universe without saying a word. And after Choo cursed angrily. Finally, the response from Lucifer Morningstar came. Hi, good brother, I took the gems. You're welcome. I did this for your own good. A white light appeared. Lucifer's lazy voice came from inside. If you want to become stronger, you can't rely on these external objects. Good brother, I have left you enough power of the morning star, so you can digest it easily. Bye-bye, hide away. There was a snap. The white light disappears. Lucifer Morningstar's voice also disappeared. Chu Shu was silent. There were 3 parts anger, 1 part confusion, and 4 parts a sense of déjà vu in his eyes. That's right, a standard fan chart. The reason is because the phrase, good brother, spoken by Lucifer is so familiar. Chu Shu always felt that this tone seemed familiar. Who would call others, good brother, while deceiving others? Chu Shu thought for a long time, and finally figured out who this familiar feeling came from. It's not good to imitate anyone. Learn from T.M. Constantine. Being a brother with this kind of person will bring you bad luck for 8 lifetimes. Chu Shu cursed. All the infinite gems that I finally collected were gone. From that omnipotence that holds everything, he suddenly turned back into the weak, pitiful, and helpless level single universe. Besides, it doesn't matter if the gems are gone, I haven't finished my work yet. Looking at the 2 universes that have not yet completely separated, Chu Shu became even more angry. Just when he was about to call Lucifer again and scold him again, 2 figures rushed up. Don't panic. Just leave the little things to us. Yes, you know this kind of big shot, you should have told me earlier. The physical embodiment of the Marvel Universe, Eternity. And Destiny, the physical incarnation of the DC Universe that has come back. Suddenly, uncharacteristically, especially the goddess of destiny, came forward extremely diligently. Isn't it just a collision of universes? Little things. Eternity and I just stay away from each other. After Tianming finished speaking, he and Yonghang pushed each other as physical embodiments of their respective universes. Their actions also represent the actions of the 2 universes. Then, collision crisis. Is it just lifted like this? See this scene. Chu Shu was silent for a long time. Tell me the truth. Did you 2 negotiate this collision crisis? The collision crisis between the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe has been resolved. The heroes each went back to their respective homes to find their respective mothers. Etrey happily wrote down in her notebook, the 42nd Universe collision crisis was perfectly resolved. Everyone was very happy. Only Chu Shu returned to New York's holy place in a daze. Plop. Chu Shu returned to the holy place and lay down on the sofa. Staring at the ceiling with blank eyes, Ancient One saw this. He walked out with a sure enough expression on his face. How about, I just said that the water in this universe is very deep. Do you believe me this time? Ancient One sat aside. Just like when we met for the first time, I poured Chu Shu a cup of tea with unlimited refills. So you already knew? Well, when I first learned about these things, I was more shocked than you. Hear this. Chu Shu looked sharply at Ancient One. He thought that the Ancient One had long been exposed to these secrets outside the universe. I thought I could give me some guidance. As a result, Ancient One's next sentence silenced Chu Shuxian. After all, who would have thought that in some universe, I would actually be an old man with a white beard? I can only say, multi-universe is really amazing. Boss, it seems that we are not talking on the same channel. The collision crisis is over. All Avengers returned to the Marvel world. Despite experiencing several cosmic reorganizations and several energy shocks that rippled through the universe. But everyone still retained all the memories from this time. Such as Peter Parker. He's back in the Marvel universe though. He became Tony Stark's little follower again. But he still remembers the time when he was adopted by the Kents in the DC universe and became Spider-Man. Same reason. Superman on the DC side also remembers being adopted by the Parkers. Even if the universe has separated the 2 places. Both parties can no longer teleport to each other's world. But everyone at Marvel and DC miss that experience of fighting side by side very much. Originally, I planned to customize a batsuit and give it to Bruce. Inside the Avengers Alliance headquarters, Tony Stark couldn't help but feel very emotional as he recalled his experiences during this period. They were rivals from the beginning, racking their brains to plot against each other. Later, the grudges were forgotten with a smile. They even fought side by side in the end and became comrades in adversity and life and death. Just 3 days, but it feels like it has lasted a lifetime. But strictly speaking, this sentence is correct. After all, there was a period of memory confusion during which cognition was rewritten. If you add this memory to it and say it lasts a lifetime, there is no problem. Strange, have any of you seen Steve? Luke Cage came to the hall and asked. He hasn't seen Captain America since the collision crisis ended. He searched all over the Avengers Alliance headquarters just now and couldn't find it. By the way, there's Bucky. Bucky is gone too. Luke Cage has been added to the list. Winter Soldier, Bucky. Like Captain America, he also disappeared after the collision crisis ended. Oh, are you talking about them? You probably haven't looked for it in the toilet, right? Quicksilver was lying on the sofa, holding a comic book and reading it. Hear the question from Luke Cage, he asked without turning his head. No, Luke Cage shook his head. That's right, I just met them in the toilet. The two of them are vomiting. Calculating the time, I have been vomiting for almost 2 hours. Quicksilver answered while looking at the independent comic publication, The Flash, in his hand. Whenever I see the Flash being defeated and beaten by the villain. A pleased smile appeared on Quicksilver's face. Well done, reverse Flash painting. My name is Barry Allen, and I am the fastest man in the world, but every episode there is someone faster than me, ha ha ha. Quicksilver watched. On the other hand, he also imitated the Flash's classic slogan in the comics in a weird way. Toilet? Vomited? Luke Cage has a question mark on his face. Two big men, they can't get pregnant, why should they vomit? Seeing Luke Cage, he was a little confused. Tony Stark on the other side asked. Luke, during the memory confusion period, you should be in the DC universe, right? Yeah, what's wrong? Luke Cage nodded blankly. See this scene. Tony Stark, Black Widow and others all showed knowing smiles. That's no wonder. Let me tell you this. There was a chaotic period where Bucky became a woman. And this female version of Bucky has been in a relationship with Steve for decades. Ah. Luke Cage's eyes widened. It feels like the worldview is collapsing before my eyes. Especially Captain America, who has been his idol since childhood. Don't think too much, Bucky is really pretty. In that memory, she and I were good sisters. Black Widow said while holding back a laugh. Really? The gender-transformed Bucky is the one-armed beauty in our team. Tony Stark nodded and acknowledged Black Widow's statement. But Luke Cage still can't imagine what the female version of Bucky looks like. In his mind, Captain America followed a graceful one-armed woman. The camera looks from bottom to top, from feet, to legs, to waist, to hair, everything is normal. Until the camera showed the face of the one-armed woman, it was the bearded, extremely masculine Bucky. Then Captain America is holding him and gnawing on him. Vomit. Sorry, let's go to the toilet. Luke Cage suddenly felt his stomach churn. Just when I was about to turn around and go to the toilet, I suddenly thought of something and stopped quickly. Forget it, kid, bring me a trash can. Okay. Peter Parker obediently handed over a trash can. At the same time, in the restroom of Avengers Alliance headquarters, Captain America and Bucky turned pale from vomiting. The two tough men couldn't stand firm now. Sorry, Steve, I really, bitten. Can you stop talking, whenever the two of them talk or look at each other? That unbearable memory will come to mind again. Cannot forget. I really can't forget it. The other side in the holy place of New York. Ancient One looked at Chu Shu, who was still lifeless yesterday. Today I am full of energy again and have changed into my heartless self. Quick, quick, quick. Choose the most handsome outfit for me. You want the kind of woman who can't walk even after just one look at her. Chu Shu called Wanda, Black Cat, and Gwen all early in the morning. Let them brainstorm ideas. Choose the most fashionable outfit for yourself. Hurry up. After choosing the clothes, I still have to go to Hoodalu in the next village to get a fashionable hairstyle. Where are you going? Mr. Chu Shu? Wanda asked. Yeah, why are you still dressed up? Black Cat asked. I just want to know, who is Hoodalu? Gwen asked curiously. Why are you kids asking so many questions? I'm going out to do something big. Diplomatic activities. Do you understand? Chu Shu waved his hand impatiently. Diplomatic. Several women were even more confused. Ahem. To put it simply, I'm going to go to the DC universe next door for a diplomatic visit on behalf of the Marvel universe. Chu Shu coughed slightly and said, Aren't the two universes already separated? How are you going? You don't have to worry about these, I have a clever plan. Chu Shu put on the clothes selected by the girls. With a confident smile on his face. Just wait. I will try to bring you a sister who is over 1,000 years old. After doing this for a long time, you still want to find a woman? What's the point of diplomacy? Liar. If I had known, I wouldn't have helped you choose clothes. That is. The women who reacted threw the clothes hangers in their hands towards Chu Shu. But Chu Shu has already had quick eyesight and quick hands. Teleportation. Leaving New York holy place. When he appeared again, he had arrived at a deserted star field. Eternity. Come out. Chu Shu shouted. Immediately stars twinkled all around. Immediately afterwards, the single eternity of the Marvel 19999 FL universe appeared. Baby, is something wrong? You are such a bastard. I'm raising you all the time. You don't call me brother, but you call me cub? Chu Shu is not used to eternity at all. Because he knew that this old boy had taken advantage and had something in his heart. Elder brother. Really? Eternity, who had been scolded, was not only lifeless. Instead, he came over extremely diligently. It seems that I have indeed brought you a lot of benefits. How about it? How do you feel about the universe upgrade? Fine. Eternity answered truthfully. Although he is just a projection of the four abstractions of higher dimensions. But he is also an independent being with self-awareness. Having the opportunity to develop is definitely a good thing. Then why haven't I seen any help from you? Just taking benefits and not doing anything? Chu Shu asked. No, I didn't know it was related to you before, I thought it was. Seeing Chu Shu settling old scores, Eternity begins to quibble. But when Chu Shu said, he knew that there was no point in quibbling. Have no choice. Eternity had no choice but to correct its posture. Brother Chu, you have something to give me. This is so true. Xiao Hang, do me a little favor and send me to Tianming's place next door. No problem, Brother Chu, just hold on and sit firmly. Let's go. In this way, Chu Shu came to the DC universe. The front foot just arrived. On the back foot, the physical god of the DC universe, the goddess of destiny, appeared respectfully. Welcome to the DC universe. Chu Shu, right? If you need anything, you can give me direct instructions. If eternal diligence is a matter of course. Chu Shu was a little surprised by Tian Ming's attitude. What? You want to upgrade too? Upgrade? Tian Ming paused. Then he expressed his purpose of coming. Chu Shu, what is your relationship with that person? Is that the one? The goddess of destiny pointed her finger at it. Like the eternity next door, she is also the incarnation of this single universe. The difference with Lucifer Morningstar. Not to mention the huge gap. That's at least a huge difference. Oh, you mean that idiot Lucifer Morningstar, right? Hey, that's not fun to talk about. The goddess of destiny was shocked. After confirming that Lucifer had no intention of coming, he breathed a sigh of relief. Don't worry, I have a good relationship with him, buddy. Chu Shu gritted his teeth and said, buddy, but Tianming obviously believed it. In fact, even if she had the ability to see through Chu Shu's lies, she probably thought her own ability was broken. After all, what if the relationship wasn't strong enough? Stop talking about Chu Shu. It is estimated that the universe he is in will be wiped out by Lucifer's idea. That's great. By the way, do you have anything to do when you come here? Do you need me to accompany you? Goddess of Destiny's address to Chu Shu here has changed from you to you. To here. Chu Shu also understood the reason for her change of attitude. If we say eternity is because we seek for ourselves, our attitude is so good. My destiny is to regard myself as a big shot with a backstage, and I want to fawn myself. Hiss, it seems like this. It seems that my calling, buddy, was not in vain. Chu Shu's eyes lit up. Despite the loss of infinite gems. But in exchange for it, he gained the capital to walk sideways in two universes. No matter how you calculate this transaction, you have made a lot of money. After all, infinite gems can only show off their power in their own universe, and no one will recognize them when they leave. But now with Lucifer's name, there seems to be a lot of room for maneuvering. Ahem, there's no need to accompany you. I'm just here to do some minor things. Chu Shu said tentatively. Really? Goddess of Destiny's attitude is still extremely attentive. Okay, if you have any questions, just call me and I'll come out right away. Tianming made a promise before retreating and disappearing into the universe. How good is your attitude? Let's put it this way. She didn't even turn her back to Chu Shu when she left. Chu Shu watched the Goddess of Destiny leave. It wasn't until the other person left long ago that he came back to his senses. Oh my god, it seems like I can really walk sideways between two universes now. Does that mean I don't have to fight anymore? If we just abduct Diana, no one would dare to object? For a moment many evil thoughts popped into Chushu's mind. For example, things like, I don't eat beef. I ask you to eat it, but you really eat it. But the good thing is, Chushu finally calmed down. Can't pass the trial. Can't pass the trial. If you do this, you will enter the R18 area next door. Chushu shook his head and eliminated the messy thoughts in his mind. Then, he was transported to the Earth of the DC universe. Arthur hasn't calmed down yet. No, he still talks nonsense all day long. They always say something. I won't accept gifts during the holidays this year, but only melatonin will be accepted as gifts. Inside the Justice League headquarters, Superman and Batman are troubled by Aquaman Arthur. Although as the universe reorganizes, referring to the time when Lucifer reorganized the universe. Lucifer thoughtfully restored the Earth of the DC universe to its original state. Cities that had been destroyed were restored. This undoubtedly greatly reduces the workload of the Justice League. But everyone in Junglian is still troubled by one thing: Aquaman is crazy. Where's Martian Manhunter? Superman asked. In fact, Clark himself has a lot of troubles. For example, he misses his adoptive parents from Marvel, namely the Parker family. But with the two universes completely separated, cross-universe travel has become completely impossible. Thoughts can only become thoughts. Didn't I ask Martian Manhunter to use telepathy to enter Aquaman's brain and help him delete those messy memories? Didn't he go? Superman asked. When Superman asked this, Batman was silent for a while. Then he let out a long sigh. Martian Manhunter went and also used telepathy to enter Aquaman's brain. Then what? Then he went crazy too, as soon as these words came out. There was a long silence in the conference room. You can still vaguely hear some conversations coming from the next room. Say goodbye to all worries. Say hello to all happiness. Listen to me. Thank you, because you warm the 4 seasons. SpongeBob, let's go catch jellyfish together. No problem. Ollie, do it. While the Justice League is helpless against Aquaman's symptoms. The other side. On a paradise island isolated from the rest of the world. The funeral of the Amazon warriors who died in this war has just ended. Although Lucifer Morningstar restored the Earth to its original appearance. But it did not resurrect the dead. Although all this was just a thought to him, he just didn't do it if he didn't do it. After the funeral, Wonder Woman Diana sits alone on the edge of a cliff near the sea. While sorting out the somewhat confusing memories, I remembered those Amazon compatriots who sacrificed their lives. However, inside Paradise Island, Queen Hippolyta has been stunned by the news. Where's Diana? Have any of you met Diana? Find her quickly. Also, who of you knows how to put on makeup? Hurry up and find someone who can put on makeup to release the album. Hippolyta's command. The surrounding Amazon female warriors were confused. Her Majesty the Queen, you can let us go out to kill the enemy, no problem. But makeup. No one on our entire island knows how to put on makeup. Are you referring to the pattern of priests with their faces covered in blood and oil paint? Amazon female warrior, look at me and I look at you. Finally, he looked down at his hands. What does this look like? It's not like she knows how to put on makeup. Forget it. I won't wear makeup then. She has a good foundation anyway. Inform Diana to take a bath and change clothes. Also, find the most beautiful clothes in Paradise Island and put them on her. Queen Hippolyta issued new orders. Everyone was even more confused. Why? Hear everyone's questions. Queen Hippolyta looked serious and slowly explained the reason. Just now, the divine messenger Hermes sent an order, and the order came from the divine king Zeus. And Zeus's orders come from a higher being above. Then his command comes from above. Then. Wait a minute, what is the order? Everyone was almost stunned. But they also understood that this order came from a very big shot. Anyway, it is definitely an existence that the Amazon family cannot afford to offend. The content of the order is, let us Amazons, especially Diana, make sure to receive a great guest. There is no room for error, however. Wait for the Amazons to find Diana on the edge of the cliff. And when you express your intention, you guys are late, he has already left. Diana smiled and shook her head. You're late, what do you mean? Wonder Woman's teacher, Antiope, showed a trace of doubt and anxiety. Diana, this is no joke. This person has a great background. Even God King Zeus has repeatedly told us not to neglect this distinguished guest. Otherwise, let alone Paradise Island, even the earth and the gods of Olympus will heal. Antiope once again emphasized the seriousness of the matter. Ah? VIP? No, teacher, are we talking about the same person? As this distinguished guest you are talking about a substitute from across the Marvel Universe? Diana was confused. Just now, she had met Chu Shu who was teleported, and agreed to his request for a date. The next step is to head to the Marvel Universe for an appointment. You can hear what anti-op means. It seems that there is another big shot that I want to receive? Thinking of this, Diana showed a trace of disgust in her eyes. Teacher. I am an Amazon warrior, not a receptionist. Diana was determined and would rather die than surrender. Go back and tell my mother. I, Diana, will die. Jump off this cliff. I will never. By the way, I remembered. You were right, this distinguished guest is called Chu Shu. The atmosphere suddenly became tense. Diana's unyielding expression was fixed on her face. She, who was originally standing on the edge of the cliff, silently took a step back. At this height, originally, a demigod could not be killed to death. Antiope. Aren't you going to jump off the cliff? Why, not jumping? Diana. I thought about it carefully, and I still think. The big orange is the most important thing. The other side. Chu Shu has left DC Earth. I don't know how much psychological burden his arrival has brought to Paradise Island. This scene is actually similar to a leadership inspection. An order. Passed down level by level. The people below are ready to tidy up what needs to be tidied up, clean what needs to be cleaned, and only show the best side. During the entire process, only the leader himself was unaware of this. Come over and take a look. Oh, you guys did a great job. Although Chu Shu refused to be accompanied by the goddess of destiny, the physical incarnation of the DC universe. But this is the same as the leader saying, keep everything simple. Let people talk about it. You can't really do that. But the only problem is waiting for the message to be passed down layer by layer. Chu Shu had already met Diana. It's equivalent to a surprise inspection. Looking at Diana, she shouldn't be under any pressure. That's right, I didn't expect Tianming to be very understanding. He knows that strong feelings are not sweet. Only in this way can we have true feelings. When Chu Shu left the DC universe, she was still lamenting the true nature of the goddess of destiny. Fortunately, there is no formalism. It's better to do things like conquering girls yourself. Back to the Marvel universe. Eternity immediately appeared and came over. Brother, did you have a pleasant trip? Good. Chu Shu glanced at Eternity. Then he asked. I want to know if you can send me to all the universes I have contacted before? Hearing this question, Eternity nodded. That's the theory. I can reconnect with all the worlds that you have broken the barriers of the universe and come into contact with us. Eternity replied. For example, Chu Shu himself couldn't figure out how many cosmic barriers he had broken. So he asked. The first is the Marvel parallel universe that has the same roots as ours. For example, 616, Main Comic Universe, 2813, Squirrel Girl, 838, Movie Illuminati, 14512, Penny Parker, 2149, Zombie Universe, and so on. The second is other worlds where you have broken the barriers of the universe. For example, Terminator, The Matrix, Mega Man, Resident Evil, Cthulhu, and so on. Eternity counts all the worlds where barriers have been broken because of Chu Shu. These universes are what make it upgrade. In the main Marvel 616 comic universe is the main reason for the 19,999 FL upgrade. According to the Eternal description, since Chu Shu defeated Gear from the 616 universe and obtained the all-black Death Sword, the origin of the 616 universe is constantly flowing into the 19,999 FL universe. So, I can even go to the world of Resident Evil and lure King Ada over? A graceful figure in a red dress popped into Chu Shu's mind. Brother, do you want to go? Yongheng listened without saying a word. A passage to the world of Resident Evil was immediately opened. Next time, the schedule has expired recently. Okay. Chu Shu waved his hand. Eternity immediately closed the channel. He tried his best to flatter me, for fear that he would move a little too slowly. Only back to the Marvel universe. Only Chu Shu can understand what is meant by simple background, ultimate enjoyment. It's just the interest binding of this one-hand universe upgrade. It is enough to make the top master, eternal, like a little follower, busy and working hard without complaining. This was something Chu Shu never dared to think about before he learned these secrets. Chu Shu believes. If Lucifer Morningstar hadn't told these secrets, I guess Eternity will keep it secret from me. make a fortune with a muffled sound of. At most, he can save himself at some critical moments. This is an intolerable thing for Chu Ti, who always adheres to the principle of, I would rather have people in the world for free than let people in the world have sex with me for free. So he now makes the evocation of eternity without any psychological burden at all. I have something to call you. Bye, brother, walk slowly. Eternity obviously knows this too, and he is also afraid that Chu Shu will leave and abandon the universe. So no one on either side said anything, but a tacit consensus was also reached. Elder brother. My brother Chu. As long as you don't leave. You will always be my brother Chu. Return to Marvel Earth. Chu Shu found Thor directly. Well, he should be called God King Thor now. Ask him what happened during this time. After all, since defeating the God Killer Gal who invaded the main universe of 616 comics, Thor was never seen again. Even though the Earth has experienced several major events in the meantime, including the invasion of Corvus Glaive's fleet, Thor didn't show up either. This abnormal behavior really made Chu Shu very curious. Brother, what have you been going through during this time? Doubts about Chu Shu. Thor, who lost one of his left eyes, said 4 words in a deep voice. Ragnarok. Haven't we already solved it? Your sister, Hela, is now training in the army in Hell. I've been busy preparing to attack other dimensions all day, and I don't have time to worry about your Asgard, right? Even Gore the God Slayer. Whether it's the Gore of the comic universe or the Gore of this universe, haven't they all been solved? A burp. One returned to her home planet to raise her baby. So tell me, who else can get you a Ragnarok now? All kinds of doubts about Chu Shu. Thor sighed. My friend, Ragnarok. More than once, in the holy place of New York. Thor recounted his experiences during this time. Since the last battle with the God Killer, I have embarked on the road to find my father Odin. During this process, I gradually revealed the inside story of Ragnarok. It's a cycle. Whether the flame giant Surta exists or not, whether my sister Hela turns against me, or whether we defeat Ragnarok the Godslayer, this will still happen. This is the ultimate fate of the Norse gods. So far, no one can rewrite this ending. Thor told a shocking secret in a deep voice. Norse mythology. It's a tragic ending from beginning to end. Thor eventually died from the venom of the mortal python Jormungandr. Odin died from the mouth of the giant wolf Fenrir. Loki and Heimdall died together, and finally Surta destroyed Midgard in the World Tree. The gods of Asgard in the Marvel worldview have some changes from the official mythology, but still can't escape this fate. You mean Ragnarok is being manipulated? Chu Shu probably understood what Thor meant. If there's one thing that can't be changed no matter what, it's probably someone behind the scenes. Such as the lottery. Then how did you find out? Chu Shu asked. How did I find out? Let's restate Chu Shu's question and then answer. In order to find Odin, I placed my hope on the Well of Wisdom in front of the World Tree. Same as my father Odin. To get the answer, I sacrificed an eye and hung myself from a tree for 3 days and 3 nights. In the end, I got what I wanted, and the Well of Wisdom gushes out again. After drinking from the spring water, I got the answer I wanted and stepped into a wonderful realm. There, I came into contact with runes and learned about a kind of knowledge called Sayet. It is a kind of knowledge that understands the past and the present. The legendary wisdom of Odin is this thing. Through this object, I gradually revealed the real Ragnarok. As Thor spoke, the sound gradually turned into a picture. A machine. An ancient textile machine. And an infinitely extending canvas. The 3 goddesses sat in front of the machine and were busy silently. They wore cloaks and masks, hiding their true faces. One person spins. One person pulls the strings. One person removes the cloth. The canvas woven by the former was dismantled by the last person. The silk thread is fed into the machine by the second person, and then becomes a new canvas, passes through the hands of the first person, and is finally sent to the third person, and then is disassembled into silk threads again, and the cycle repeats, never ending. Those canvases have patterns printed on them. Thor, who was sent over by the Fountain of Wisdom, saw clearly what was written on it. Only in the canvas. Someone swung a hammer and defeated the giant snake, but unfortunately he also died from the snake's venom. Finally, the flame giant appears, and the magnificent building is swallowed up by fire. After reading this section of the canvas, Thor's gaze continued upward. On another section of canvas, a similar picture appeared again. There are just some changes. The same man swung the hammer, but his opponent turned into an army of undead, followed by giant wolves and snakes. But the end result is still the same, the flame giant appears, Asgard is swallowed by fire. Thor knew that he was the one wielding the hammer. The content on this canvas is Ragnarok. This is all going on in an infinite loop. An unknown fire ignited in Thor's heart, but he suppressed his anger and continued to look. It's still the same start, but this time there are some changes. Throwing the hammer, he was caught by a woman, Hela. She crushed Mjolnir with her bare hands. Then the scene goes to another planet, where I am trapped and fighting Hulk. Asgard's army is massacred by Hela. In the end, Loki released the flame giant, the magnificent building was devoured by fire, and Asgard was destroyed. Although many changes occurred in the middle, Ragnarok's ending remained the same. It's all a cycle. Ragnarok happened more than once. When Thor witnessed this scene, 8 words came to his mind. I can't help myself, at the mercy of others. Thor knew that his father Odin must have been here too. It was precisely because of knowing these secrets that the old man was in fear all day long. No. You have to stop this, Thor roared at the 3 weaver goddesses. And the response to him was silent contempt. Thor's roar received no response from anyone. The 3 goddesses continued to weave the fate of the Nordic gods without saying a word. And Thor's consciousness returned to the real world as the well of wisdom dried up again. However, Thor's consciousness swam in the well of wisdom for a brief moment. For reality. But a long time has passed. And this is the reason why Thor has been absent from so many major events. In the holy place of New York, as Thor slowly ended his story. Only then did everyone come back to their senses. Shu had an expressionless face and slowly stuffed the popcorn in his hand into his mouth, looking like he was fascinated. And not only him, but Gwen, Squirrel Girl, and Black Cat on the side were also fascinated. Even the Ancient One. Even she was attracted by this legendary fairy tale. Everyone basically sits on a small bench. Listen to stories around Thor. So those 3 old ladies are the real culprits behind Ragnarok? Shu asked with an expression like, say it quickly. Speak it quickly. I'm waiting to hear it. Thor glanced around. Fell into silence. He felt like the storyteller under the bridge. But after a moment of silence, Thor still answered Shu's question. No, they were just following orders. The real culprit behind them is the existence behind them, the ancient god. The ancient gods are not gods, at least in Thor's telling. This is a being greater than the gods of Asgard. They were the first gods at the beginning of the universe. Definitely. This refers to gods like the Asgard Protoss, the Warner Protoss, and the Olympus Protoss. Rather than abstract gods such as eternity, infinity, annihilation, and death. The old gods who sit in the darkness, who plan every Ragnarok. They hold knives and forks. Greed draws upon the immense energy of the gods' fall. That's right, they think so. Thor's words were astonishing. After hearing this, Shu looked at Ancient One. Boss, do you know what kind of ancient god this is? The ancient gods I know more about are the mother of the earth, Gaia, the god of black magic, Sithorn, the snake god, Set, and Ohit and Hogden among the Trinity Wyshan Emperor. After the Ancient One finished speaking, he added, but the ancient gods Odinson mentioned are obviously not what I just said. That's right. Thor nodded. These guys were born at the beginning of the universe. But the problem is that since their birth, they have been hidden outside reality, a place that even time cannot touch. It doesn't belong to any universe, but they can reach out to all parallel worlds and absorb the huge energy caused by every Ragnarok in every universe. My father Odin found their hiding place. He went there to try to reverse Ragnarok's fate. Then, he never came back. Speaking of which, Thor, a tough guy like him, couldn't help but burst into tears. But he snorted and buried all the sadness in his heart. I believe Odin died fighting like a king. I'm proud of it. Thor pounded his chest with his fist, in memory of Odin's passing. I didn't expect this old god king to be so courageous. Yes, facing the ancient gods alone. It must have been a heroic and epic battle. Maybe it's because Odin's behavior of taking personal risks and changing the fate of his children is truly admirable. After hearing this, everyone present expressed their admiration. Even Shu changed his tune for the first time and replaced Lao Pai Deng with Lao Shen Wang. And hear this. Shu also finally understood Thor's experience during this period. I have to say, it's quite exciting. So you became the Rune King? Shu felt the energy in Thor's body, in terms of magnitude. Thor has reached the level of the Supreme Father. Almost on par with the original Odin and Ancient One. Yes, but it's not enough. I can feel that the power of the runes is much more than that. But I don't know why, the most I can do is this. Thor said. There seems to be something limiting him. Chu Shu definitely understands what it is. Universe level. Likewise Thor, the Rune King. The comic version of Rune King is at least multi-universe level. But in the movie derivative universe, King Thor can only reach the top to celebrate friendship. And the power. This top Heavenly Father may not be as strong as the ordinary Heavenly Father in the comic version. What is before me is a powerful opponent from outside the universe. I understand the gap between us and them. So, my friend, I really need your help this time. Thor looked at Chu Shu sincerely, to be honest. Thor still couldn't believe it. You know, Chu Shu was just a Heavenly Father when he fought the God Slayer Gear last time. I thought that after I gained the power of runes, I would be able to catch up with you. But I didn't expect that the gap between us would become wider and wider. Odin is on top. My friend, I didn't expect that you were already in the single universe. Thor was genuinely happy about this, because the strength of the ancient god he has to face is unknown. The stronger the allies are, nature is the best. The only question now is whether Chu Shu is willing to help. It's up to you. Chu Shu took out her cell phone and checked the time. There was a trace of confusion on his face. Do you think this matter can be resolved before noon tomorrow? Thor was stunned for a moment by the question. Then he replied, I'm not sure exactly when. But one thing I'm sure of. That is the hiding place of the ancient gods. They have no sense of time. No matter how long we stay there, whether it's a week, a month, a year, or even 10 years, to the outside world it's just an instant. Thor said this. Chu Shu breathed a sigh of relief. That's no problem. Let's go. Let's go to hell first and take your sister Hela with us. Chu Shu opens a portal, motioning for Thor to follow. My friend, do you have anything important to do at noon tomorrow? Do you need my help? Thor followed and asked a question. Help? No need. Chu Shu decisively refused. I'm going on a date with Gal Gadot tomorrow. What help do I need from you? As Chu Shu and Thor disappeared into the portal. In the holy place of New York, several girls set their sights on Ancient One. Haven't opened my mouth yet. Ancient One guessed what they were thinking. Don't worry, if the sky falls, that kid won't hurt a hair. When Ancient One said this, he felt outrageous. What blessings did this kid accumulate in his previous life? He was actually protected forever, however. The Ancient One would never have thought of it. The real reality is even more outrageous than what she learned. The biggest possibility that Ancient One can think of is that Chu Shu attracted Eternal's attention in some way, and then Eternity gave him a little blessing. But the reality is, Eternity is like a little brother. Come as soon as you are called by Chu Shu, leave as soon as you drink. Anyway, that kid is protected by a great god, so you don't have to worry too much. Ancient One's promise is a reassurance for their children. It slightly alleviated their worries. Sir, I'm going to continue practicing magic. Wanda also breathed a sigh of relief. Then he turned around and entered the training room inside the holy place. Ancient One looked at Wanda's back and frowned, but didn't say much. During this period, Wang Tian's practice time almost doubled. In addition to necessary food, drink and rest. She spends almost 24 hours in the training room. Did this girl suffer some kind of shock? Ancient One asked doubtfully. In the training room. As soon as Wanda came in, she sat down cross-legged. When she and Chu Shu obtained the Book of Darkness, Wanda learned about the fact that she was a Scarlet Witch and that her origin magic power had unlimited possibilities. Since then, Wanda spared no effort and began to practice hard. I hope I can grow up quickly and at least be able to help Mr. Chu Shu. However, not long after Wanda sat down cross-legged, a very familiar voice suddenly appeared in her ears. Do you have a child? Wanda's eyes shot open. The female voice ringing in her ears was clearly her own voice. Let me ask you, do you have children? The voice sounded again. Wanda heard it really clearly. Yes, this was her own voice. But children? Wanda looked down at her flat belly. Probably not. I usually take pretty good measures. Hear this. Another Wanda's voice fell silent in her ears. Then you are no longer my target. I will find the next one. Bye. Marvel 19999 Cinematic Universe. Wanda, whose will was eroded by the Dark Book, cut off the magic link after speaking. Oh, my dear darling, did you remember to come to me? Hell Dimension. Chu Shu just found Hela. Then he got a roll of his eyes. Have you forgotten me? My dear. Or are you saying that those new lovers on Earth have already drained you? Hela's words were full of resentment. On the one hand, there is a strange atmosphere. At the same time, he pinched the thin flesh of Chu Shu's waist with his hands. After all, since unifying the Hell dimension, Chu Shu has become a hands-off shopkeeper. Nothing to do. All Hell's mess was thrown at her. Just having these few Hells in the Dominion territory is annoying enough. But that wasn't what really made her angry. There are two things that really make Hela angry. The first point. Yes, Chu Shu hasn't been here for a long time. Ancient emperors also knew how to favor their concubines from time to time. UTMD. I'll strangle you to death. Thinking of this, Hela gritted her teeth and pinched Chu hard again. But that wasn't what pissed her off the most. What pissed her off the most? There has been no war for such a long time. Back in Helheim, you swore to me. I said there will be endless battles after I follow you. Where are the battles now? Tell me. The more Hela thought about it, the angrier she became. I wish I could just go up and bite it with my teeth. Ahem. Pay attention to the impact, your brother is here. Chu Shu coughed lightly. Thor on the side had already turned away. I wanted to gouge out my only intact right eye. Oh, isn't this the Prince of Asgard? What? Did you find your father? An angry woman always kills gods when she stands in the way of God, and kills Buddha when she stands in the way of Buddha. Hela is no exception. He even attacked Thor directly. However, this time, Thor's answer surprised Hela. No, sister, I am the king of Asgard now. Thor corrected the words, His Royal Highness, that Hela said. But the tone in which he said he had become a king was not at all happy, but rather heavy. Hela definitely understood what Thor meant. The little ladylike attitude she had when she was playing around with Chu Shu disappeared in an instant. Instead, there was coldness and seriousness. Who killed him? Hela asked. Ancient god. Thor replied. So are you going to kill me? If so, count me in. Hela finished. Mjolnir and Night Sky Sword flew from a distance at the same time. She caught them one by one. During the process, Thor saw Mjolnir, whom he had not seen for a long time, and wanted to reach out to pick him up. As a result, Hela's death stare frightened Thor into retracting his hand. The bloodline between siblings is suppressed. It's not something you can change as your strength increases. Thor could only glance at Mjolnir with nostalgia, and then looked away. Stormbreaker raised. Come with me. As soon as you finished speaking, you used Stormbreaker's ability to summon Bifrost. Saw this long-lost colorful beam of light. Chu Shu suddenly remembered the Grammar he gave to Rocket Raccoon. That sword also unlocks the Bifrost. I don't know what the Rockets are doing recently. It's been such a long time since I came back to see Ge Yunshi. A question popped into Chu Shu's mind, then stepped into the Bifrost. The light flickers. The three of them came to an uninhabited starry sky. But it is slightly different from the universe of the main world. The surrounding stars are arranged according to neat rules. Looking from a distance, they look like branches on a big tree in the sky. This is the inner space of the world tree. That's right, it's the world tree in Norse mythology that holds up 9 worlds. It's real. Thor holds on to the Stormbreaker. He looked around with cold eyes. It's just that what we are looking for is not the world tree, but another existence here, over there. Sudden. Thor threw the storm axe in his hand far away. The battle axe turned into a ray of light and disappeared into the depths of the universe. After a long time, the stars in the distance started to move. It turned out that those were not stars at all, but the twinkling light on the huge scales. Immediately afterwards, a snake pupil that was countless times larger than a star opened, staring at everyone from a distance. Then, the giant snake opened its mouth. He spat out the storm axe that Thor had thrown. It was already covered with emerald green snake venom. Dirty thing. Thor summoned thunder to evaporate the venom from the battle axe. Then he caught the tomahawk. The mortal serpent, Jemengard? Chu Shu said, turning his head and looking at Hela beside him. There is something I have to complain about. That's in the true Norse mythology story. Hela, the goddess of death, Jemengard, the earthly serpent, and Fenrir, the giant wolf. The three are actually 3 brothers and sisters. Big brother, Fenrir. Second brother, Jemengard. Third sister, Hela. And the father of the 3 is Loki. That's right, it's Loki. Darling. Hela obviously guessed what Chu Shu was thinking. He said something viciously. Those are all stories made up by mortals on Earth. If I knew who wrote it, I would tear their mouths out. Hela made up her mind. After this matter is over. The first thing he did after returning was to give Loki a good beating. What are we here for? Kill that snake? Chu-Shu asked doubtfully. Thor's axe successfully awakened Jemingard. The giant snake that surrounded the 9 realms came to life, and its huge body began to move, swimming towards the direction of the 3 people. The cycle has begun. Thor Odinson, son of Odin, son of Gaia, son of Frigga, son of Asgard, son of Earth. Go back and meet your destiny. Jemingard rattled off a bunch of titles for Thor. Anyway, they are all the sons of so-and-so. After hearing this, Chu-Shu thought that Thor was the reincarnation of Lu Bu, and that he was a slave with the surname Chu. Do you want me to go back and meet my fate? Thor sneered at the giant snake. Why do you think I'm here? You and your master hiding in the shadows use the fate of the gods as a bargaining chip. Do you think you can guarantee victory? Now I want to tell you, you were wrong. What a mistake. Thor roared and raised his battle axe. The power of Thor and the power of the runes surged within him. But before he could take action, Chu-Shu suddenly reached out and stopped him. Bridge Beansack. Before we start fighting, I'll call a younger brother. Chu-Shu stopped Thor. Then under Thor's doubtful eyes, someone called out. Eternity. Come out and wash the floor. Chu-Shu just finished speaking. The stars around are trembling. Space collapses. Then a stalwart figure appeared. This space was almost crowded. The entire world tree is shaking. Because the world tree simply cannot accommodate this huge body. Here we come, brother. I will always stand next to Chu-Shu. Thor is stupid. Hela is stupid. Jemingard in the distance was also stunned. No matter whether this eternity is a single eternity or some kind of eternity. Eternity is eternity. As long as you are not a being above diversity, you will be dumbfounded when you see him. Jemingard. How the hell are you going to fight? Go and beat it up. Chu-Shu pointed at Jemingard. The giant python pointed at by this finger was so frightened that it almost died on the spot. Even the ancient god behind it. I was also frightened by the appearance of eternity. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Ancient gods hidden in other dimensions appear. In the dark starry sky, some simple figures made of lines appeared. They have no bodies, just simple outlines made of white lines. Rough and simple. It's like a few drafts of a painter's pen. However, the appearance of Ji Shen changed nothing. Because Chu-Shu has already given the order. Are you an ancient god? Eternal Li didn't care about the weight of these ancient gods. A look. In the distance, Jemingard's body began to disintegrate. Although eternity is a single eternity, it exists in this 1/3 of the universe. But it is the absolute supreme existence. Thor and Hela's eyes widened, and they took a long time to recover from the shock. Is this what you said? Call me a little brother. You call eternity your little brother? Number. Have I woken up? Snapped. Thor suddenly slapped himself twice with his hand, and felt a burning pain on his cheek. On the contrary, he was even more shocked. Is this actually true? Thor was stunned. Even the well-informed Hela felt that her worldview had collapsed. What is eternity? The physical embodiment of our universe. Why can you call him here? I don't understand. There is a person in the distance who doesn't understand. No, even a snake doesn't understand. Hiss, hiss, hiss. The gradually disintegrating Jemingard roared repeatedly, its body twisted wildly, and kept beating the void. Aren't I just showing the door to the ancient gods? Rounding it all off, he is a security captain. It's not like he's breaking a rule of heaven. As for having a physical incarnation of the universe attack me? Hiss. At the end of his life, Jemingard let out an unwilling roar. The snakehead is ferocious. The fangs are revealed. But all the efforts are in vain. Soon, Jemingard's body completely disintegrated. As the giant snake died, a dark door leading to the unknown world appeared in the void. Seeing his janitor snake die, those ancient gods made of simple lines felt a hint of anger. But after taking a look at the eternity next to it, all anger disappeared. You have earned our respect. From now on, we will never reach out to your world again. Ragnarok will forever be a thing of the past with you. The lines on the faces of those ancient gods sitting in the shadows changed again and again, as if they were discussing something. The strange thing is, they don't seem to be very afraid of eternity. Instead, it was more of awe. They're not here. Yongheng explained the reason to Chu-Shu. The general meaning is that these ancient gods are not in any universe. As the physical embodiment of the 19,999 FL universe, eternity cannot leave its post without authorization and go to the location of the ancient gods. Speaking in human terms is, the other party is beyond my jurisdiction. And the ancient gods obviously knew this very well. This is also the reason why they don't want to stay in any universe. Because in this way they can reach out to the infinite multi-universe without any control and greedily absorb the huge energy of Ragnarok in each universe. Thor, what do you say? Chu Shu looked at Thor. Now eternity comes forward. The ancient gods never dare to stretch out their hands again. If Thor stops here, then the cycle of Ragnarok is actually over. Definitely, Chu Shu definitely doesn't want it to end like this. How can there be any reason not to take revenge completely? A watchdog for the murderer? No. What the hell is a watchdog snake? Or don't kill. If you want to kill him, kill his whole family. Fortunately, Thor's ideas coincided with Chu Shu's, and he didn't mean to be cowardly. What else can I say? Since these cowards don't dare to come over, let's go over. Thor glanced at the dark passage formed after Jemingard's death. That is the door to the ancient god. Beautiful. This is my good brother. Since I got this god-killing sword, I haven't killed a god yet. Chu Shu gave Thor a thumbs up, and then showed the all-black death sword. Don't try to intimidate us. Eternity cannot touch where I am. Apart from eternity. You are just ants. Regarding Chu Shu and Thor's attitude. The lines on the faces of the ancient gods sitting in the shadows changed, and angry expressions emerged. Seeing this, Chu Shu finally came to Bungu. Why are your painting styles different from ours? Did the special effects team run out of funds? Look at you, you are just like a stick figure, only the outline is left. After Chu Shu finished complaining, she finally felt much better. To be honest, he wanted to complain when they met just now. After listening to Chu Shu's complaints, the ancient gods whispered to each other for a while. Finally chose silence. Haha, it seems you gave them a hard time. These insects, which have been hiding in the shadows since they were born, don't know what special effects are. Thor laughed loudly. Eternity watched silently. It is true that he cannot go to the world where the ancient gods live, but this does not mean that he cannot help. Brother Chu, wait for me. After saying this, eternity disappeared. Chu Shu was fine, but Thor and Hela next to him looked horrified. Darling. Darling, what did you just say? Previously, when Eternal appeared on the stage, he called Chu Shu, but at that time, Hela only thought that she had heard wrongly. But this sound just now, Thor and Hela heard clearly. They were very sure that those two words were, Brother Chu. Thor was silent. At this moment, Chu Shu was full of strangeness in his eyes. It's like your best friend since childhood suddenly became the second generation. And this is not an ordinary rich second generation. It's the kind of ultimate second generation with an outrageous background and brilliant hands and eyes. Soon. Eternity is back, brought an unexpected helper. As the physical embodiment of the rules of the universe. Death, annihilation, and infinity. The four of us cannot leave this universe without permission, but he can. Eternal Turn introduced the helpers he had found for Chu Shu. In fact, I know Chu Shu even without introducing him. After all, the name of this great god of the universe is known to everyone. Because he is the invincible planet devourer. I heard you have a little trouble here, don't worry. As long as I'm here, don't bother me. The giant body of planet devourer suddenly descended and appeared in front of Chu Shu and the others. Done. But Chu Shu felt a chill in his heart. The ancient god slipped away. After the planet devourer appears. Those simple figures composed of lines sitting in the shadows immediately disappeared like a cocoon. Before leaving, he also closed the door formed after Jemingard's death. They were really scared. If it was just eternity, they would have nothing to worry about. Because eternity is the incarnation of the universe, it cannot go to the world where they are. But Planet Devourer is different. He does not represent a certain rule like eternity, annihilation, infinity, and death. The universe will not fail without him. So the ancient gods were afraid. I can force lie on the internet, but you can't hit me anyway. But if you can really find it along the network cable, then I can only say one thing, brother is awesome. Brother, have mercy. Such is the current situation. But Chu Shu didn't seem so happy about Galactus' arrival. For reasons we all know. Once the planet devourer appears as a friendly force, the final result is often not very good. So there is such a famous saying. The invincible Uncle Tun collapsed again. Garland, my brother's safety is in your hands. Garland is the real name of Planet Devourer. After Eternal gave instructions again and again, he left this space. And he had just walked away. On the back foot, Galactus set his sights on Chu Shu. There's nothing special about you, kid. The strength is only that of a single body. Why does Eternity value you so much? Still calling you brother. He never called me brother. Galactus looked at Chu Shu. He thought for a long time but couldn't figure out the reason. Obviously, Eternity did not tell others about Chu Shu's special ability. Because the fewer people who know this news, the better. Once spread, passed to multi-universe or other worldview universes. Eventually, it is likely to trigger an infinite cosmic war for Chu Shu. Guinea pig, are you full? Chu Shu obviously also knew what Yongheng was worried about. So he didn't tell Galactus the reason, but instead asked Galactus if he had eaten enough. Because this issue is crucial. Just be full for 1 or 2 points, it doesn't matter, that's enough. Galactus's answer made Chu Shu's heart skip a beat again. Good guy. Do you think you haven't lost enough? Are you ready to add to your losses? But now is not the time to dwell on this. The ancient gods closed the passage before leaving. But this little trick is undoubtedly in vain in front of the 2 great gods of the universe, Eternity and Galactus. Boom, Galactus raised his hand and blasted with cosmic energy. Then he forced open the closed door. Let's go. Galactus shrunk his body to about 10 meters. Then, just like a tour guide for primary school students on their spring outing, they entered the passage first. Chu Shu, Gila, and Thor followed closely behind. This is different from what I thought at first. Thor muttered to himself before entering the passage. What he originally wanted was a tragic life and death battle in the Nordic style. I and the others will definitely fight with that ancient god till the end of the world. Or tragic blood spilled into the deep sky. Or a hearty victory. In short, the painting style is definitely that kind of passionate and exciting. Thor just felt like a newbie in the game who was given a copy by the top boss. Why does Thor know game-related terms, you ask? Please, for those of you who can be close friends with Chu Shu, isn't it a basic skill to understand the game? Under the leadership of Planet Devourer, the 4 people passed through the passage. After a burst of darkness, everyone clearly felt that something had changed around them. Time disappears. The well-informed Galactus makes full use of his identity as a bodyguard and tour guide. Before the change, Chu Shu, who had Time Gem, could also notice the changes here immediately. But now, bide Lucifer Morningstar. After scolding Lucifer daily, Chu Shu began to observe his surroundings. This is a space similar to space, but very original. Savage. Nothing. This is space 14 billion years ago, where the ancient gods were born. Uncle Tun continued to introduce. Chu Shu found that Thor on the side had a dull expression and froze on the spot. So he stepped forward and asked, "What's wrong, brother?" Thor's dull expression came back to his senses. He first glanced at Chu Shu and then at his sister Gila. Then he said in disbelief, "I feel the power of Odin. My father, he's alive, he's right here." Thor suddenly flew in one direction with excitement. Chu Shu and Gila looked at each other. I seem to feel a little bit of that old thing's aura. He is indeed here. Gila was in disbelief. Obviously Odin is dead, even his power of Odin has fallen upon Thor. How could a living Odin pop up here again? Well, I think I understand why. Chu Shu was thoughtful, but he needed to verify before answering. Go, follow. I guess we can meet other old friends besides Odin. After Chu Shu said that, he and Gila chased Thor together. Galactus followed him indifferently. Anyway, the task given to him by Eternity is to protect Chu Shu, and he doesn't bother to care about anything else. The other side. Thor stopped. A familiar scene appeared before his eyes. An ancient textile machine. An infinitely extended canvas. 3 figures wearing masks and cloaks. 3 sisters of destiny. A voice roared through gritted teeth. But it's not Thor, nor Chu Shu, but Odin. Stop this, or you will meet the wrath of Odin. This Odin is the Odin of the 19,999 FL universe. At this moment, this old god king was wearing armor and holding a magic spear. The most glorious gesture in the past threatened the 3 goddesses of destiny. Father. Seeing Odin, he shouted excitedly. Thor? Odin turned to Thor. While a trace of surprise flashed in his eyes, a trace of sadness also flashed. He saw the power of Odin within Thor, So, I failed in the end. A drop of dirty tears flowed from old Odin's eyes. But the next second, he angrily raised his spear, Gangner, and pointed it at the three sisters of destiny. Odin Bolson, you know the outcome. Why bother struggling anymore? One of the three sisters of destiny stopped what they were doing and said sarcastically. At the same time, Chu Shu and Hela, who came later, also saw the scene in front of them. Really, Odin? Hela sees that Odin is still alive. There were complicated emotions in his eyes, which seemed to be hatred and happiness. Do you remember? There is no concept of time here? That means, no matter how long Odin comes before us, we will meet him here. Similarly, we will also meet all the people who have been here before and will come here in the future. Chu Shu explained the previous question, immediately afterwards. As if to verify Chu Shu's point of view, another figure wrapped in black liquid appeared in front of everyone. The black liquid transformed into a blade and a cloak. This person's figure is set off in extremely darkness. Gore the Godslayer, Gear holding the all-black death sword. After Gal arrived, its eyes first glanced at Odin, Thor, and Hela. Then, its eyes fell on Chu Shu. The pupils shrink instantly. Because Gear saw the all-black death sword in Chu Shu's hand. Exactly the same as the one in its hand, all-black death sword. So, I failed, right? The land of the ancient gods is a place not connected to any universe. There is no concept of time here. In theory, everyone who has ever been here, and everyone who will come here in the future. We will all meet here. The God Slayer Gal of Universe 616 is the most obvious example. My name is Gear, a son of mortals, a wanderer in a forgotten world. I tried my best to fight my way to the source of all things, just for a pure dream. Gear looked at the gods present and made his declaration in a deep voice. But it's not finished yet. He was interrupted by a voice next to him. I understand. You just want to end this era of gods, right? Chu Shu completed what Gear left unfinished. At the moment, Gear has not traveled to the 19,999 FL universe, so it does not know Chu Shu. But it recognizes the all-black death sword in Chu Shu's hand. I came here to hunt down an ancient god, take the heart of the ancient god, and create a god bomb. But now it seems, my plan should have failed. Gear frankly stated the purpose of his visit. Anyway, everyone is not from the same timeline. Even if you say it, it won't change anything. But you do it anyway. Fine. Chu Shu waved his hand. Following Gear, he set his sights on the three sisters of destiny. There are two god slayers here now, two god kings of Asgard, and a goddess of death. And the ultimate boss who treats the planet like a cookie. May I ask how your excellency the ancient god should respond? As Chu Shu finished speaking, Odin raised the spear of Gungnir, and Thor summoned Stormbreaker. Hela also took out the Night Skyblade and Mjolnir, and stood with Odin and Thor. The three members of the Odin family are finally on the same side. At this moment, Divine Power Prison, the God Slayer, Gear, was shocked by the two God Slayers in Chu Shu's sentence just now. Are you also a God Slayer? Could it be that? You inherited my will? Speaking of this, Gear looked at the all-black death sword in Chu Shu's hand and seemed to understand something. That makes sense. I have not inherited any of your will, we are just like-minded. In the future, if you meet a human being who talks to you about atheism, remember to be nice to him. Chu Shu instilled some ideas into Gear in advance. But now the real focus remains on the three sisters of destiny. Odin Bolson, Thor Odinson, Hela Odinson, Gear Hogson. Chu Shu, the three sisters of destiny tell the origin of each person. According to their naming method, it should be your birth name followed by your father's name. For example, Thor Odinson means a child named Thor, Odin. But when it came to the origin of Chu Shu, the three sisters suddenly got stuck. It's not right. This person is not in the database? The three sisters who really couldn't figure out their fate simply skipped Chu Shu. He set his sights on the planet Devourer standing at the very back. Garland's word, Lan, hasn't been uttered yet. Boom. A beam of cosmic energy that penetrated deep space illuminated everyone's faces. Galactus casually blasted the one who spoke out of the three sisters into ashes with a burst of energy. What kind of person deserves to call me by my first name? Fortunately, Galactus only gave a small punishment to one of the people who dared to call him by his first name. He had no intention of continuing to attack the remaining two goddesses of destiny. But the remaining two sisters were still too scared to move. Hiss? Chu Shu suddenly realized something was wrong. Looking back at Planet Devourer. Garland, how much strength did you use just now? There is no objection to Chu Shu calling himself Garland, the Planet Devourer. After all, he has to be called brother forever. According to the seniority on the road, it would be polite to call Galactus Galan. Not much force, just a little bit. What's wrong? Galactus replied. Upon hearing this answer, Chu Shu said nothing. He picked up the all-black death sword and killed the 3 sisters of fate who were the only 2 left. Presumptuous. We are destiny. Phew. The myth of one of the destinies is unfinished. Then Chu Shu slashed his head with a sword, and his head, which was covered by the mask and cloak, flew high into the air. In the process of landing, fragments of cloaks and masks fell off one after another. The hidden face of the goddess of destiny was also revealed. It was a blue-skinned, swollen, deformed face with distorted features. 2 eyes, one large and one small, are covered by cyst-like eye sockets. The nose is crooked and intertwined with the mouth that is split into several parts. Only the outline of a human figure can be vaguely seen. The word, goddess, has nothing to do with it. No wonder you guys have to cover it up with something. Gila looked disgusted. The 3 sisters wearing masks and cloaks still look good, at least they look good. Who knew that once the mask was lifted, he would look even more ridiculous than the ugliest demon in hell? But what Chu Shu is concerned about is not whether the 3 sisters are ugly or not. Although beauty and ugliness are also important. But more importantly, didn't you realize that the 3 of them are noobs? Phew. Chu Shu said, turning around and killing the last of the 3 sisters with a sword. The whole process is effortless, and it's not just simple. To be honest, if it weren't for Uncle Tun, then he would just hit him casually. Chu Shu also didn't expect that the 3 fateful sisters would be such noobs. Are these guys really ancient gods? Thor stepped forward and kicked the bodies of the 3 sisters of fate. After confirming that they are really dead, everyone was shocked. Odin was also stunned. The 3 sisters of destiny clearly have the powerful power to weave destiny. As long as the destiny is woven by them, the future will definitely come true. Not even the King of God can change this, so neither Odin nor Thor thought that the 3 sisters of destiny would be defeated so easily. If you go any slower, you probably won't be able to win. After killing the 3 fateful sisters, Chu Shu walked to the textile machine, pulling out the canvas that was being woven inside. During the battle in the ancient god space, the god slayer Gur accidentally killed Thor. Odin was furious and fought with Gur. Planet Devourer was dissatisfied with the order to protect Chu Shu, so he attacked from behind and killed Chu Shu. Gila died. The contents on the canvas are all scenes of people dying mysteriously and being defeated in battle. Although the 3 sisters of destiny had already started their attack. Once they have finished weaving these canvases, then the outcome is uncertain. The 3 of them are probably not the real ancient gods. We have to continue. Chu Shu glanced at the bodies of the 3 fateful sisters. Such a weak strength is completely incompatible with such a weird ability. The greater possibility is that they, like Yemengard, are just the true servants of the ancient gods. Really. When Chu Shu means to move on, an angry voice suddenly sounded. Enough. Your goal has been achieved. We have witnessed your strength and you have earned our respect. Stop it. There will be no more Ragnarok. Leave. We will not pursue the deaths of Yemengard and the 3 sisters of destiny. The simple outline of those lines appears again. He repeatedly persuaded Chu Shu and others to stop. But this kind of behavior is like that of a naughty child. He has to wait until his true colors are exposed and disaster is imminent before he can think of remedying it. The end result is naturally a hammer. Do you need me to show you the way? Planet Devourer asked. No, those white lines have revealed the location of the ancient god. Chu Shu winked at Thor and took the lead in flying in that direction. Thor, Odin, Gila, and Gorr followed closely behind. Finally, in a desolate and dead star field, everyone saw the ancient god, the real ancient god. Is this the ancient god? Thor was disappointed. Because there is only one simple and honest blue creature in front of everyone. He was sitting naked on a meteorite. He held a blue creature more than 10 times smaller than him in his hand and brought it to his mouth, then opened his bloody mouth, biting and chewing. And his other hand is holding another deformed blue creature. Tuck the other person under you. Make mechanical movements. There are many similar blue creatures around. The purpose of their existence seems to be to become food or toys for the ancient gods. The first god stared at the void around him, His heart was occupied by loneliness, so the world was born from the tears in the corners of his eyes, and the teardrops turned into the ocean. After they froze, the land was born. That's how I was taught. God Killer Gear looked at the blue creature in front of him. There was a hint of disgust in his eyes. I don't see any kind and great gods here. All I saw was a bunch of deformed idiots, nothing fancy. It's just primitive appetite, and the despicable inbreeding. Gur's comments about the old gods did not arouse any objections. Even Thor was disillusioned with the image of the old god. No wonder they never show their true colors. You shouldn't be here. The grudge between us is over. Saw Chu Shu and his party. The honest-looking blue creature slowly stood up. Because he has no clue. Therefore, when standing upright, the ugly and deformed organs are undoubtedly exposed. Oh, crowdfund a pair of eyes that have never seen this thing before. Chu Shu slashed away with his sword, but this time there was no flash sale. The black sword light of the all-black death sword was easily blocked by the blue creature in front of him. His strength far exceeds that of the three destinies in Yemengard. On the contrary, it was the smaller blue creatures around them. It exudes an aura similar to that of the three goddesses of fate. Are you an ancient god, or do you mean everyone here? Chu Shu asked. I am the only ancient god. I am the first god. The honest-looking blue creature had a proud smile on its face. When he smiled, the fat on his blue face squeezed his eyes. Only the slits of his narrowed eyes were exposed. They are my children. At the end, he did not forget to introduce the other blue creatures around him. Hear this. Everyone remembered what he had done to these blue creatures just now. I suddenly felt sick to my stomach. No, I can't stand it anymore, guinea pig. Chu Shu just finished speaking. Originally, the planet devourer only wanted to protect Chu Shu and did not interfere with anything else. This time I stood up without any hesitation, because he was disgusted too. Dirty thing. Are you worthy of being called the god of the ancestors? As soon as Galactus appeared, everyone dispersed. Whether it's Chu Shu, Odin, or Gore the Godslayer. Everyone is looking forward to it, waiting for the famous planet devourer to show its power. Give me. Ashes, flying, smoke, extinguished. Galactus revealed his true form, raising his hand and releasing a beam of energy that destroyed the world. The space along the way was instantly shattered. No, it was erased. Wherever the light beam passes, there is only a dead line left. There is nothing there. Death upon contact. However, what happened next was beyond everyone's expectations. That ancient god who looked so stupid, like a fat blue man. With only one hand, he blocked the death ray released by Planet Devourer. Odin, Thor, Hela, and Gear all looked shocked. Only Chu Shu secretly said, sure enough. Let's just say, Uncle Tun, can you come out to show off next time when you're full? Even if it's half full, that's fine. I gave you a chance. The first ancient god obviously also noticed that the planet devourer in front of him was not as powerful as he imagined. After confirming that Galactus is not in peak condition, the ancient god takes action. His fat right hand waved in the air. A nearly infinite cosmic energy is rushing towards Galactus. Not good. The invincible planet devourer is naturally aware of the magnitude of this power. If he is victorious, no, as long as you can eat half full, he can easily suppress this so-called ancient god. But the problem is, Galactus and Chu Shu were exaggerating when they said they were full. The real situation is that he is not even full. Guinea pig, do you want any help? Chu Shu showed the all-black death sword and asked. Need not. Galactus refused without hesitation. Even though he has noticed that the ancient god in front of him is far worse than his current state. But Galactus, who has always wanted to be strong all his life, still couldn't lose face. I am Galactus, the invincible planet devourer. Are you still afraid of you, a rat who hides his head and shows his tail? Feeling humiliated, Galactus took out the treasure at the bottom of the box. Lighter. The ultimate eraser to be precise. The true SSR artifact in the Marvel Universe. Die to me. Late. However, that's not until Galactus uses the ultimate eraser. The power of the ancient god came with a bang. The light explodes. Boom. Rumble, rumble. There was a loud bang. What follows is an endless reverberation. The impact of energy, one after another, flattened everything around him. Even Odin had to hold his divine spear in front of him. Only then could he barely stand firm. As the first god born 14 billion years ago. The ancient god witnessed almost every wonderful scene in the wild period of the universe, which gave him a lot of divine power. Among them is the ability to weave destiny that it gave to the three sisters of destiny. But this is still not where the ancient god is truly powerful. Its real power. It has made a wise move since its birth. Get out of the universe. Come to this desolate space where no one cares. Extend the black hand of fate to each parallel universe and lay a big net called Ragnarok. All past and future. Countless universes are reincarnated and annihilated. Ragnarok again and again, bringing incredible power to the ancient gods. At the same time, it also brought a new defeat to the arrogant planet devourer. That's right. The invincible Uncle Tun fell down again with double hair. Ah, I knew it. Chu Shu was not surprised at all by this scene. Galactus, who suffered heavy damage, was directly thrown away, and the ultimate eraser came out of his hand. It drew an arc, and then landed accurately in Chu Shu's hands. There was almost no hesitation. Chu Shu put it into his pocket decisively. Hello, Uncle Tun. Goodbye, Uncle Tun. The defeat of Planet Devourer exceeded everyone's expectations except Chu Shu. The strength of the first ancient god far exceeded everyone's imagination. Laziness, greed, stinginess. This first idiot born at the beginning of the universe almost exclusively possesses the energy of every Ragnarok. Leave only a little bit from your fingertips for the second batch of goods created around it. This is the ancient god. They have great strength. But its essence is a primitive creature that combines all lower desires. You have to pay for your offensive behavior. After defeating Planet Devourer, the first ancient god, who was still a little worried at first, finally no longer has to worry. If not even the god of world destruction, Planet Devourer, can defeat himself. Then there is no need to worry about these people in front of you. I gave you a chance. But you didn't cherish it. The first ancient god straightened his chest. A golden light, from top to bottom, formed a gorgeous golden armor, covering up his ugly and honest appearance. And the deformed, twisted, blue creatures around them also stood up one after another. The deformed pieces of flesh on their bodies squirmed rapidly. From the original extremely ugly appearance, they turned into handsome men and beautiful women, wearing gold armor, silver robes and gorgeous clothes. Father God. As soon as the handsome men and women appeared, they immediately saluted the first ancient god. Each of them has an aura similar to that of the three sisters of destiny. When converted to strength, he is almost equal to the Heavenly Father in the movie universe. These twisted and weird blue creatures, he transformed into an ancient god that was more in line with people's impressions and was extremely majestic. His body exuded the aura of a noble god, but in Chu Shu's eyes, these guys are still those inbred, ugly, deformed blue monsters. Put 2 pieces of garlic in your nose, you really think you are an elephant. Chu Shu held the all-black death sword tightly. Threads of black aura emanated from the sword, instantly sweeping over the whole body, blending into one with the demonic shadow cloak. This god-killing treasure will finally be in the hands of Chu Shu to drink the divine blood. This. You feel it too. Gear lowered his head, and the dark liquid flowed into his hand, forming a completely black death sword. A handful from the past, a handful from the future. Comrade. You and I, today the tumor drank from the gods. Gear simplified Chu Shu's phrase, like-minded people. But it didn't know how much its unintentional words of comrade shocked Chu Shu. Chu Shu. I don't want to fight alongside him, but he calls me comrade. No problem. Davari. Chu Shu jumped up. The darkness transformed by the all-black death sword blocked the last bit of light in space. Like a pitch-black monster, it pounced towards a group of golden and majestic gods ahead. Kill them for me. The first ancient god waved his hand and gave the order majestically. The handsome men and women around him immediately surrounded Chu Shu like a wave. If there must be a Ragnarok, I hope it's here. At the moment, Thor followed. Accompanied by runes and lightning, they rushed towards these origin gods. Odin and Hela looked at each other, saying nothing to each other, but all their emotions were contained in their eyes. Child, I am sorry for my original mistakes. Shut up, old man. If you have anything to say, wait until the war is over. This moment, the eldest daughter of the Odin family has finally come to terms with her father. The father and daughter who killed everyone thousands of years ago are on the same side again. Now, God is as powerful as hell. Odin raised his spear and created a cosmic storm. A torrent of colorful energy shot out from one end of the spear and blasted towards the ancient god. Hela finally gave up the title of Goddess of Death. Returned to the eldest princess of Asgard. Mjolnir. Mjolnir bursts into power in the presence of his true master. A flash of lightning. A dazzling light illuminated this dark space. In the dim and bright space, the roars of warriors and the wails of ancient gods come and go. Cool. Chu Shu hasn't had such a good time playing for a long time. The all-black death sword slashed out with one sword. The dark light swept away all the ancient gods in the space. After those, handsome men and beautiful women were killed with a sword, their prototypes appeared one after another. No golden armor, no handsome appearance. Some are just deformed and ugly blue bodies. And the divine blood spurting out. Even this so-called divine blood is not golden, but blue blood as thick as petroleum. The blood of the ancient gods is spread all over space, floating in a weightless environment. Then, all this blue blood was absorbed by the all-black death sword. Transformed into a dark symbiote. The power of the all-black death sword comes from the gods it kills. The more gods you kill, this sword will become stronger. Ha 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 ha. Gear laughed loudly in the distance. After killing an ancient god and bathing in its blood, Gear felt happy from the bottom of his heart. These guys are not gods at all. They are just a group of primitive creatures with only strength. They are not even pigs, haha. Gear laughed loudly. It never thought that in this life, it would meet a like-minded person and fight side by side with him. But I have to say, this feels really good. Chu Shu, is that the name? I don't know when we will meet in the future. Maybe 10 years? 100 years? 1,000 years? But please don't worry. Even if the future is so far away that I forget your name, I still remember what you said. Atheism. Gear kept these 3 words in his heart. He swore that in the future, no matter who said this to him, he would unconditionally believe him. At the moment, the battlefield was in chaos. A group of demons danced in Chu Shu's direction. Tentacles like skyscraper pillars waved left and right, and purple rays shot out from the ends. Dozens of annihilation rays. Up down left right. Random shooting. There is also the pitch-black sword light of the all-black death sword in the middle. The children of the first ancient god, or rather its stored food or meat toys, are dying in droves. Their gorgeous skins disappeared, replaced by ugly corpses. The remaining ancient gods cried and wailed. Like a bunch of pigs waiting to be slaughtered. Enough. The first ancient god was furious. You ant, it set its sights on Chu Shu. Slowly uttered one word. Die. The magnificent power came crushing. Wherever it passes, the space is shattered and everything is distorted. All objects touched by it turned into irregular fragments and scattered in all directions. And no one has called me that for a long time. The person who said this last time seems to be the former Lord of Limbo, Belast. Alas, I missed it. As Chu Shu spoke, he took out a lighter from his pocket. The ultimate eraser. Planet Devourer just didn't have time to use it. But it doesn't mean Chu Shu can't make it in time. Oi! Do you smoke? Pa da. The ultimate eraser switch has been flipped again.